The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PSP. People said the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it does now comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. We can tell me how.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. I know why you come to me with that foolishness, you know. You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to those in television land. Welcome to our silent supporters. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much as usual for tuning in. Hope everyone has been having a wonderful and productive week so far. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live. We don't ask so much. Please just thumbs up the live. Share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Tonight's topic is let's strengthen Jamaica together, or let us strengthen Jamaica together, with your host Baron and Marie. We also have Jamaica's Pastor Ricky. Alan Bernard is here with us tonight. We'll also be having Mr. Rattigan in studio. We're expecting Daisy Magazine. Yes. And also Mr. Steve McGregor will be joining us shortly, and Baron will do the formal introduction of our guests for tonight. Let me just welcome everyone in the chat. P. Richards, Beverly, Merlin Malioson, hope I'm getting it right tonight as well. Carla Evans, Rosa, Louis Longshaw, Truck Life, Dorothy McCoy, Rosalie Ricketts, Dwight Tyndale, Leighton Brown, Arvid White, Mitch Boo over there in Australia. Happy Wednesday to you. Right. Hurricane Atty, Jeanette Letts, Michael Urquhart, Florence Brown, Noreen McLean, Orville Wright, Nathaniel Brown, Elaine Turner, Lola Lewis, Real Black Woman, Una Vassal, Eileen Francis. Welcome. And as you come in, I will welcome you individually. If I lose control of the chat, then you know it's an umbrella welcome. I will now turn over to Baron, who will take us into the discussion.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful precursor there. Honey, really appreciate that as always. All right, my Jamaican people, right, in locally and in the diaspora. Tonight, of course, we have in studio two of our political giants as it relates to our MP candidate, right, that they will be contesting. Steve McGregor as it relates to Central Kingston, right, and of course Alan Bernard, right, for Northwest St. James. So I'm just going to make them just relax in studio for a while. We have Jamaica, right? We have Pastor Ricky. We're going to have Brother Rattigan joining us later. And of course, we'll be having Daisy Magazine right in studio as well, right? So I want to say to all of our viewers, right, big thanks for all to tuning in tonight as we are going to deal with the issues, right, both politically and economically. Having said that, without any delay, let me just get into the rhythm of things before I go to, of course, Brother Steve and Brother Alan. Let me just do a little, building up here as it relates to this clip. Let us play this. Just give people a feed of the political climate and what is happening before I get to the guest, right? We know that MP candidate Steve McGregor for Central Kingston, his first time here. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes.
But there is another person who don't talk too much. That is the Auditor General. I am taking up the work to defend the Auditor General tonight. Because the man come forward to say that she is either ignorant, incompetent, or malice. Now the Auditor General spoke the truth that 3.4 billion with a B, not with a M, was granted to the housing project for Andrew Holness program under his ministry. He said that he never spent the 3.4 billion. Then I want to know if you get 3.4 billion and don't spend it in your 9 years, if that is not incapable and incompetent. He then said that he needs 6,000 houses for the poor and indigent. In years, he built less than 300. It means it will take 200 years for him to build 6,000. I want to know a prime minister who have a plan for 200 years, if that is not incapable and incompetent. I have to ask the question, what can go so? I then heard on the news that the Prime Minister believed that the state of the roads is an emergency, but he has been in charge of roads under his ministry for 9 years. So when did he recognize that the roads was an emergency? If after you lose an election, the road is an emergency, is that not incapable and incompetent? I hear that all of a sudden, they don't realize that 18% of our children is passing 5 subjects, including maths and English. Isn't it incapable? Isn't it incompetent? If after 9 years, the majority of our children cannot get 1 subject in school? And that is why on the campaign trail, I want you to remind the people that we are having an election between 1 meal per child in school and 3 meals per adult in prison. The JLP will tell you you cannot afford to give every child a meal. But when they get into trouble, they find 3 meals for an adult. This election is against the incompetence of a government that still don't give children books in the 2nd going into the 3rd term. And textbooks still don't distribute to most of our children in the secondary school. Whole heap of people have to buy the books that are on the book rental. That is incompetence.
All right. Now let me go to the panel tonight. Right. Our objective is about leadership and good governance. And here tonight, as I said earlier, we have Steve McGregor for Central Kingston in studio, and we have Alan Bernard for Northwest St. James. Right now, when you look on the candidates that contesting for a seat right in Parliament, and as it relates to meritocracy, and we see the selection as it relates to Mark Golden, selecting right these candidates, right, such a strength, right, and we appreciate as it relates to the selection of these candidates goes to show you that Mark Golden is targeting representational politics, and that is why we are here tonight to highlight these candidates, right, as it relates to solid representation. Now, let me just go to Steve McGregor, right? We know that Alan is no stranger, but for persons who are quite, new, right? Some of those who are just joining in, right, and joining the Mystic Sensation, right? We're just gonna ask Brother Steve to briefly introduce himself to us, and then we go to Alan for the same. All right, Brother Steve.
Thank you for having me. You can hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, good. I am new to representative politics, but as it relates to represent and being there for the people as an advocate, yes. I've been doing that as a police officer, and I must say good evening to Alan. He shared with some of my exploits while he was with USAID, so I know him quite well. Yes. Listen, I like the way you introduced it, because I heard that my opponent was on TV today saying that I don't stand a chance against him. And he was boasting about spending state funds, which I will be able to do when I become the member of parliament. So boasting about spending state funds and not spending it in the right place and the right way, I am against that. So our party leader have selected people who have been there and done that. The community that I'm going to represent, I lived there for 26 years of my life. I went basic school, primary school, high school, and to add to that, as a police officer that I served for over 41 years, I commanded that same division that I am now seeking to represent. So I am here to take it to another level, to give representation to them second to none. So I have been there and done that, and I am ready now to take it to the other level in representing them in Parliament.
Woo! That's what we want to hear. The level of confidence that exhibited here. Perfect. That is what we want to hear. And the Jamaican people, right, I know that they are behind you, Steve. For me personally, right, I know Steve personally. Steve and I, we work at Barnett Street, 14 Barnett Street Police Station. So I know that
when I was in St. James,
that Steve is someone who can hold up the mantle, right, as it relates to representation politics. And I tell you, Mark Golden, this again speaks to the value of Mark Golden as a leader, right, taking us right into representational politics. We are so much appreciative of that. Now, without any further ado, let me just have Alan. We know that Alan been here, right, on few occasions, but for persons who are just tuning in, Alan, please do your introduction. Go ahead, sir.
Listen, yes, I've been here. I think this is my third appearance on your program.
Thank you.
I'm quite satisfied that our viewers and subscribers and Mystic Sensation quite familiar with me. And I just ask for indulgence, Sir Byron, because I text Steve and apologize for not being at his unveiling to the constituency because, as you know, Baron, I was sick.
Yes.
But listen, I'm going to take this opportunity now to fully endorse my friend. I think 20 years now, I have been with him, working alongside him as a development practitioner, as he would have said, working to build safer communities, from Kingston to St. James and back, when he now heads a non-divisional, non-geographic division in the Community Safety and Security branch. And he pioneered some important, very, very important initiatives to really address the root causes of the insecurity in our communities. I know everybody knows he's a senior superintendent. I think one time, Steve, you were acting assistant commissioner.
Yes, I was when I was at community safety.
You don't mention that, because I knew if you stayed, you would have gone up to that rank.
Yes, yes.
Every single portfolio that Steve McGregor held, he excelled. And I know that firsthand. His understanding of the ground, his interaction with the people, the leadership. I've been there with him, and I've grown, and I've learned law enforcement as a person on the other side through interactions with him and others, of course. But, Steve, I endorse you fully. I'm looking forward to working with you, working alongside you on the campaign trail and beyond, because I know that when it comes to building safer communities, it's at your heart. So again, apologies for not being at your
present. Yeah, man, I accept that. We are friends for life, man. And when you are having anything down in St. James, just shout me. Because it's my stamping ground, and I'll come to give you that support, my brother.
I know. Again, I'm in Northwest St. James, and a lot of the issues that are confronting us in Northwest St. James, that basic prerequisite issue needs to be addressed with safety and security. And so I look forward, Comrade McGregor, to working with you to look at it and resolve some of those issues. Let me just say quickly in relation to the things that I'm currently pursuing. Let's refer to the clip that you played earlier, Sir Byron, with Damien. And I think it's important that we do not allow the citizenry to forget, because the JLP spin things, and them spinning everything.
Yes.
Them really pass the buck every step of the game. Today, again in Parliament, the Prime Minister blaming the People's National Party for the road conditions. Incredulous. After 9 years, how can you continue to do something like that? But what Damien is saying in a nutshell is that, and reinforced by the last Dan Anderson poll, is that the majority of the Jamaican people believe that Jamaica is heading in the wrong direction. And the People's National Party have to rescue them. The People's National Party have to rescue the country from this uncaring government. That is unequivocally clear. And so in my pursuits on the ground now, it is engaging, talking to, and having the kind of dialogue with stakeholders at the community level and otherwise to see how we can respond to these issues. And as we go along in tonight's proceedings, I hope to share some of that with you. You would have heard David again said that, not one word about our policies until they announce the election. Yes. Be that as it may, we will give you some insights into what it is that we have planned for the Jamaican people when we take government.
Sounds good. All right. Before we go any further, let us give our other two panelists the opportunity, of course, to introduce themselves. Oh, three. Right. All right, Brother Rattigan, you're in the space. All right.
Muted. Muted.
There.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
All right. Bless up everyone. Bless up everyone. Let me see who's here with me. Alan, Pastor Ricky, Mr. McGregor, Jamaica, big up yourself. Anne-Marie and Byron, and all of you in the listening audience. I apologize for being late, so because today was just a busy day with clients. Plus, I went through the Auditor General's report, the new one, and I found some interesting things, including an issue that I've been raising for quite some time now, the Moroccan fertilizer. On pages 53 and 54, I see what they mentioned that they actually did an audit on it, and it was sent to Parliament to be tabled. I haven't seen the report, so you know me already. A peer ATIs me a file off before I come down and I file them off already. File off about 4, and so I will have more for file tonight. So that's why I've been busy. Jamaica just keep me busy. Jamaica is a gift that keeps on giving, content rich. So
All right.
you know, thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to the discussion.
All right, more than welcome, Brother Ratigan. Yeah, Pastor Ricky, step up in the space.
Yeah, good night, everyone. God bless you. Sir Alan, bless you. Thank you for your service and all the great work I've heard you've been doing. Soup, SSP, Comrade McGregor, me, born on Fleet Street, grew up at Smith Lane.
Love that, love that.
Yeah, moved to Lacey Road, round the corner from York Street, Dunkirk. You got Franklinton, but me got Clancarty back in the days. So thank you for your service. Sir Ratigan, the professor. Big respects every time. Jamaica's comrade brother. You know, we in the trenches together every day. Bless you. Lady Anne-Marie, Sir Byron, another professor. Big respects. Thank you for having me. And to all the Mystic Sensation viewers and listeners today, in the future, tonight, tomorrow. Big respects and God bless you all. So glad to be
You're
here.
more than welcome. Really appreciate that. Jamaics.
Good evening to everyone, and I just want to say I am grateful to be among so much brilliant minds. They say if you're among 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brilliant minds, you might become the 7th. So I'm here to learn as much as I can. And after doing research on both of the guests tonight, trust me, Jamaica is in a good hands. And I want a lesson to just a message to people to say that you're in Jamaica. If you're nowhere, you're nowhere. So it is best to stand somewhere and work from there. We have a responsibility to ensure that we play a part in governance, and we need to take that, and we have some brilliant people leading us. And I just want to say thank you for your service, both of you. From Mr. Allen, 30 years doing this lecturing as well. I'm coming up with the, what is it? Parkland Resource Center in 2002. That is amazing, and it is going and it is yielding fruit to the Jamaican people. So I respect that, and I respect Mr. McGregor's involvement in social development, and I see that 41 years is just amazing service. And also in 2016, I think when you're leaving to go to Montego Bay, the people of Kingston, West Kingston, they protested. It shows the value that you possess. And from somebody who has lived in Franklin Town, right at Cumberland Avenue for a bit. So when I hear you speak about Franklin Town, I feel it, and I appreciate you for the host, the duo that continue to give us substance. We appreciate you. Uncle Ratigan, appreciate you. Your name go before you, just like Uncle Byron. And I tell you, Pastor Ricky, as you said, we are in the trench, we are getting the message, and we are learning each and every time. So blessings and
Thank you
welcome.
so
I look
much.
forward to the discussion.
Thank you so much, Jamaics. And I love how Jamaics have done his research, right? And that is wonderful. Now we are going to, of course, tonight, right, it's more of a positive interaction as it relates to all of our Jamaicans get, up close and personal as it relates to our powerful candidates, right, that on the political mission in terms of representation, right? And we are happy for these candidates, right, in terms of their experience, in terms of their talent, in terms of their skill. And trust me, right, we are more than welcome in having, right? Both candidates here tonight. Now, let me begin with Brother Steve, right? And let me say this. For the fact in terms of, myself working right under the same umbrella at 14 Bond Street, right? I know Steve in terms of his discipline, right? And trust me, a no-nonsense person, right? But here now it's Steve taking on a journey as it relates to the political environment. So now I am going to ask Steve, as it relates to your quest on the political journey, tell Steve, why choose the PNP to harness your political talent?
Well, it is an easy choice. As I said, I grew up in Franklin Town and I lived on Cambridge Street. Cambridge Street is a street where Ryan Peralta lived down at the bottom, and he was the opponent to Michael Manley during my time. And we at the top, we used to play PNP against labor rights on the bottom. And it was cordial. We had fun doing this. I grew up under a council named Marjorie Taylor. And they used to have crash program in those days. And she would give us as the youths the smaller job to do. And I would get like the $20. The red $20 was the biggest note that we had then. And that $20 would last me for 2 weeks. And when my mom would ask me, Steve, you have any lunch money? So I'm a good mom. So where you get money from? You know, so I can remember that. I used to run through the gullies with our youngsters. My friend there who used to attend Clancarty will probably share with what I'm talking about. We used to race boarders in the gutter. We cut out some little racehorse looking things and we raced them. We did that. So I swam up. My mother sent me to Sunday school every Sunday that God sent. And I learned the traits of being a good person. I reached a stage where I went to Kingston College, got my master's degree, went to join the JCF and reached to the level of senior superintendent. And now having an opportunity to go back in that same space that I grew up in to make some more little Steve. What more would I want to ask for than that opportunity? And the opportunity presented itself by way of the People's National Party. So it was a no-brainer for me to go anywhere else. So I am in the orange color and I am going to represent as best as I can. And it's not just about winning an election. It is the beginning of a movement. And Alan will tell you, the strategies that I develop are more geared towards young people. Young people make up the bulk of those who are committing crimes in our country. Over 80% of those who are committing murders in our country are young people. And equally, 80% of them who are being killed are young people. So I will be focusing on that. So when my opponent will be boasting about spending money in the wrong areas, I will be spending it in the right areas. And I will be there to guide the process because I have the knowledge, I have the data to show where we are to go to make Central Kingston into the hub. Now, Central Kingston boasts the waterfront. Coming from the airport, it should be a major stopover for visitors coming into the country. We should have a 24/7 business-oriented culture in Central Kingston. That is where I'm looking to take Kingston Central to. And as Alan said, we don't want to give away a lot of what we are talking about. Our crime plan will be focused on bringing down the fear of crime. People make the mistake and think that what we're having in Jamaica now is the murders are the problem. It's the fear of crime. They brought down murders from 1,400 to 1,300, but that is over 1,000 too much. But we are having mass shootings that are up, people being killed in their gated communities, so people are afraid to go to work. So the fear of crime is right there in your face. We have the strategy to deal with that. And nobody is better than I am to lead that charge.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Brother Alan, let me just switch to you because as I said, I'm just going to be crisscrossing, right, between both of you, right? And I know that I've asked you this question already, Alan, so let me just make that clear, right? But the people, right, and for new people who are here, right, Could you share the reason as it relates to why you also, right, choose the People's National Party to harness your talent?
Hold on.
You're muted.
Sorry.
We don't catch none of that rich message there.
Okay, I was saying that I grew up in the community of Flanker, which at the time was a strong PAP community. My
Yes.
family, my mother, my father, my bigger brothers, and so on, were all People's National Party workers. So I was introduced to the party quite early. Again, as a youngster, you will do what you see your immediate family doing, and you will learn. So attended party school and understand the People's National Party from very early. You know, the from that time until the time I entered 3 years ago, representational politics, you know, you spend some time on yourself. But throughout all that time, I continued to work with the party structure in the community and in the constituency. And so it wasn't any decision that came to me to be made. There was no choice, in fact, because I learned, understood the People's National Party's policy and would have accepted them and manifested those. Like as Comrade McGregor said, my house in Flanker was one of the first slab roof, and that was the last place Michael Manley came to have a meeting on my rooftop. And you know, you don't forget those moments. You don't forget the moment when a Portia Simpson Miller hug you and kiss you. You don't forget those moments. You know,
right.
So if you have any thoughts of looking elsewhere, those were quickly, you know, dissipated. So pretty much, I've been a part of the party from a youngster, coming up, working on the ground actively. You know, you invest in yourself, you come back, and then you decide to take up the mantle. But the turning point really was the constituency of Northwest St. James, particularly the Flanker community, would have approached me to say, listen, since 2002, there has been no political machinery in Northwest that has any semblance of winning at the polls. And that, you know, that hit me. You know, that hit me. Growing up, knowing what I know and the strength of the PNP in Northwest, to now hear comrades saying since 2002 there has been no machinery. That hit me. And they said, you are the person to build that machinery. And I came into the People's National Party, into representational politics, that is, with a mandate to rebuild the political machinery of the People's National Party in St. James, not to chase election victory, to rebuild that machinery. Because once you rebuild that machinery, ultimately, the victory will come. And that is why I'm here, and that is what I'm doing now.
All right. That being said, let me just speak to, thank you for that, Alan. And let me just speak again to, of course, Mr. McGregor, brother Steve. As it relates to the constituency, your constituency, right? Because we have seen Donovan William, who is the current, who is also contesting for a seat there. And he sounds very strong.
Yeah,
right?
he's the incumbent, yeah.
As a matter of, yeah, he's the incumbent. So as a matter of fact, let me play that clip. Play that clip on it. I want to just show you how strong he sounds. Yes. And yes. So let me just give you a refreshing course in terms of what he said. Right? Before, yes.
Political issue of Central Kingston is still in the news.
This one. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
This
is
one?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And last night, a man was shot and injured on Stevens Street in Allman Town in the constituency. And it is said the man was reportedly standing at his gate when the shooting occurred. It is said men drove up in a motor vehicle and opened fire. Stephen Street, it is being reported, is the street on which Lawrence Rowe lives. Residents reported hearing a barrage of gunfire sometime after 10 Sunday night. And of course, this would have triggered a lot of concern given the turn in the politics of Central Kingston recently. However, we spoke with a commanding officer for the Kingston Central Police, Superintendent Beresford Williams, and this is what he told us.
Conflict that has been going on since 2023, so not politically motivated at all. Some groupings who has been in conflict from 2023, and based on all our intel, is a continuation of that conflict.
So that is the superintendent in charge of Kingston Central, Beresford Williams, and he says it's not political at all. This is the latest in an ongoing conflict in the area for a number of years now. Yes, that is the theory the police are working with, yes, according to Superintendent Beresford Williams. And the man who has replaced Lawrence Rowe in Central Kingston, retired Senior Superintendent Steve McGregor, says Rowe has not accepted his invitation to join him in the campaign to help the party win the seat at the next general election.
Issue with the hierarchy of the PNP, and he's adamant that he has resigned and he has retired from politics, and using his words, he'll be watching from the stands. But I have asked him to join me and to join our love train going through the community. He has not committed to do so, but I am optimistic that in other engagements with him, because I will be seeking to speak to him again. So I am not anticipating any fallout as most people are trying to predict.
Well, that is Steve McGregor, the PNP caretaker for the constituency, essentially saying that Lawrence Rowe has not really agreed to his outreach. Yeah. Meanwhile, the MP for the constituency, the JLP's Donovan Williams, says he's undaunted by the entry of McGregor into the race for Central Kingston. Williams says he has a good record to run on.
I've done enough in the constituency. My track record is there so far. I still have a way to go, but the signs are there that Central Kingston now has effective and good representation. I don't think the people need to change that now or substitute that. We have the lowest crime rate in years, and we have it for a sustained period. We have good stats showing. We have infrastructure changes, development, repairing our roads. We're sending our children our youngsters to heart and supporting tertiary education. Unemployment is the lowest it has ever been. More people are going out to work from Central Kingston. We're fixing all our roads. We're removing the zinc fences from Central Kingston and replacing them with concrete structures.
Take it away on it.
Donovan Williams, the Member of Parliament for Central Kingston.
Take that away on it. All right. You have heard that, Brother Steve. I am not going to go into
Yes, I've heard clearly. Yeah.
Yes, I am not going to go into the controversy as it relates to Mr. Rowe. So
yes.
Things to do with our time. So this is what I'm asking you. You heard Donovan Williams so confident in what he said, that he's not undaunted by your entry, and he has the record to run on. I want to speak to you, Steve. As it relates to your confidence and what is your political mandate, right, to take within that constituency, right, and of course move the.
All right, firstly, the only empirical data that can support anything that he said was as it relates to crime, and truthfully, the crime situation in Kingston Central is the best it has been for a little while. You know, during my time, what he's doing now cannot match that between 210 to 212 to 13. It can't match that in no way. But I will give that the state of crime and violence in Central Kingston right now is relatively calm and there. But the other things that they would have used state funds to show, I am not seeing any data that can categorically support them sending anybody to school. The roads, they are just starting to fix them. There are a lot of bad roads in the community. I don't know of them sending any children to school. I can tell you, the people of Central Kingston don't know Donovan Williams. I know him more than how they do. You know what I mean? They don't see him. I have been going through the communities in my short stint of taking the representative side there. And I'm visiting those People's National Party people who did not vote in the last election. Because the last election during COVID, over 1,000 out of our electors didn't vote. I think 300 and something of the JLP did not vote. So I know the reason why the PNP lost is because a lot of the electors that support and normally support the People's National Party did not turn out. The me factor, the Steve Harville McGregor factor, that they know representation, know what takes place. In fact, I used to go around and take data on all the dilapidated houses that needs refurbishing or to be demolished, because these are factors that can influence crime. So I had interest in this, and they are still there. So I don't know what he's talking about. The way in which they are spending state fund is very ineffective and inefficient. But this knowledgeable and better person to represent will do far better than he can. And I can tell you that categorically, that when I become the next MP, this will happen, because I will. He's saying that I don't have any chance because the people shouldn't change. But we will see what happens on the day.
All right. There you have it as it relates to the level of confidence that Brother Steve stated there. Right. Let me just switch a bit to Alan Bernard. Then I ask Alan Bernard a question, and then of course I go to the panel, right? Because the panel have to intervene as well. Yes, Alan Bernard, I know that you have been doing a lot of work in your constituency, right? We have seen some great things that you have been doing, right? And assisting, right, persons with basic commodity, right? I mean, as it relates to tap water and so forth. Amazing work that you have done, right? As it relates to, because you're running against, is it Oris Chan or Oris Chan? Okay, so you're running against Oris Chan, right? If you can just exhibit your strategy that you're utilizing in terms of your confidence in knowing that, okay, all right, you are putting out the work, right? And of course, you have the confidence that you can win the seat, right? You can compete effectively and win. Tell us some of the strategies that you want to highlight.
So I'll not speak to the strategy, but I'll just speak to, use a lower level term, the current approach, because as soon as nomination day is known, thereafter the strategy will change. It will change. But the current approach really is based on 3 pillars. And again, bear in mind that we have been at this for almost 3 years. So, and we use information. You'd have heard Mr. McGregor tell you that we have the data, we use information. I must commend our General Secretary. His approach is not to focus on what he refers to and what we agree, the art of the politics, but to focus on the science of the politics. And just by way of example, just for clarity, the art of the politics, as you know, is that fanfare, the motorcades, everybody in the orange shirt and the vuvuzelas and the mass meetings and, rile up a crowd. That's important, and we are not going to stop that. You see what happens in St. Anne on Sunday. But to bring this home, we have to now focus on the science of the politics, meaning that politics is a numbers game. We have to understand what the numbers are, what our numbers are, and start to get those numbers in place from early, which is now. And so what we have been doing over the period of time, understanding the Northwest context, is to really and truly hit the ground in 3 particular respects. We have been canvassing, knocking every door, canvassing. We have been organizing strategic voter engagements, and these voter engagements involve working with the existing organizations within the communities and other stakeholders. We have organized some activities ourselves, some of which you would have mentioned, by way of welfare support. And we have been hammering in a particular message. And the message is at the higher level and at the level that is idiosyncratic to Northwest. The other thing that we have been doing, as I've mentioned earlier, since 2002, the PNP political machinery in Northwest St. James pretty much disappeared. So we have been rebuilding that. And if you're in this politics game, you can be as popular as you want. You can, know all your targets and do your canvas. If you do not have that political machinery to hit the ground and bring that home, particularly from the period of nomination to election day, you're in problem. So the second part is to really get the machinery in place. And a big part of that is to get the workers back. Our workers have been disgruntled over the period of time. They have not been coming out to support the party the way how they wanted to or how they would like to. So we are working closely to get that back. And the third point, and this is very, very, very crucial now, we have developed a message that is one constituency-wide, but it speaks to divisions and even to come to districts within divisions. We have worked that out. And so when I am in, let us say, a community in Norwood or a district in Norwood, that message is totally different than when I'm in the other district in Norwood, because again, the dynamism. And so we talk in the language the people want to hear, and we are reinforcing those points and giving our commitment to responding. I mean, in words, but yes, in deeds, to the extent that we have access to whatever resources we have now to allow them to realize those needs. So that's a broad strategy. But there's one important thing that we have made abundantly clear in our approach in Northwest St. James. Since 2002, a particular, and I'm using these terms very carefully, a particular regime has emerged. And that regime has brought a lot of trauma to the space. And that trauma, in part, has caused electors to remove themselves from engaging in that political space. And we are addressing that. I was in a workers' meeting on Sunday, and I will say this and allow the panelists to come in. I was in a workers' meeting in Northwest on Sunday, and one worker, having listened to me speak for maybe an hour or so, just get up and very angry and say, "Comrade Bernard, when are we going to address the elephant in the room? When are we going to, why are we not speaking about the messenger? How can we not be speaking about," really was referring to the candidate or the member of parliament, and no one speaks about what we all know in Northwest St. James to be true. And she was most upset because she was saying that here we have an MP who holds a portfolio who is a total antithesis of the portfolio based on what we know in Northwest St. James, but no one will say anything. I listened, and I am now having conversations with stakeholders in terms of how am I going to address what that particular work has brought to me, and was quite adamant that time come for us to be letting everybody know what we know in Northwest St. James. And I will leave it there.
Okay. Let me just ask this final question, and then I yield back right to another panelist. Brother Steve, let me ask you, what are some of the major concerns in your constituency and as it relates to your leadership style, right, that would change that trajectory as it relates to those issues right, in terms of your leadership, what are some of the concerns that, you know, people are venting, right, in terms of not getting the political representation? What are some of those concerns?
Well, one of the first one is promises, and there are a lot of macro promises that are made and not delivered, and that is one of the reasons why I am not going to make them any promises from that level. Getting into Parliament, then I will engage them, because at that time, I'll give you a little example. When I was transferred to West Kingston, the media at the time, there were lots of shootings and murders in West Kingston, and the news related people, media asked me, Mr. McGregor, what will be the strategy that you will be using to deal with the murders and shootings in West Kingston? I said, that's not how I'm going around here. I'm going around here to make a connect with the citizens of West Kingston, and then I will learn what are the issues confronting them. And I had a rude awakening. After doing my connection and due diligence, the people in West Kingston were not concerned about murders and shootings. I was dumbfounded. They had developed an innate ability to walk between the raindrops of murders and shootings, because that is where they live and exist. You know what they were concerned about? Dances. Having dances in that local, you know. So what I did now is to craft my murder reduction strategy around dances. Can you imagine if I'd gone there with a preconceived mind to say crime plan, this kind of operation, bringing in Zozo, bringing in that. I crafted my strategy around managing night noises. So if shots are being fired in your community, people are being murdered, no dance. So I got them now to have interest in murders and shootings. So they start to deal with the situation that we're causing this. And I sweeten the pot by saying, if you invite the boss, which was I at that time, to your dance, the dance can go as long as I'm there. So everybody were inviting me. So I became almost a Don in West Kingston. And the rest is history. We brought in all the initiatives that make the people the centerpiece of any strategy that we use to get that consistency. And this is where I'm seeing in Central Kingston. We might have some lull now, but to ensure that there's a consistency, you have to police with the consent of the citizens. So if you don't know the citizen, the MP don't know the citizen, they can't engage the police. I will be in a position to engage the police. The strategies that they are going to use to police these people in Central Kingston were crafted by me. I am the author of this. There's nobody in the JCF that came up with the amount of initiatives that I launched and put in place. I'm going to ensure that they are there. The Kingston Central Police District is one flat, meaning it's low income. You know, in other communities in Jamaica, you will have low, middle, and high. It's just one straight across the board. So all the people there are on one level. So when Mr. Williams is saying that he's doing this, it is not visible. I am going to do that. I have all the data already collected. I just want the opportunity. And as I say in my punchline there, my tagline, just believe in Steve. Give Steve the chance to take you home. I was there with you as a policeman. We had tough times. We had community policing time. I am now there to now guide you home and to make Kingston Central into the place that it ought to be. So I'm not going to be an MP who win an election and you don't see me again, like the one that is there now. And they're running now to do a lot of piecemeal thing and make up when the citizens are not confident that you are with them. I am going to be with them. I am off them. I am with them, and I will be staying the long haul. And they're going to see a lot of people coming in, other people who are there to endorse me and to say, this is the man that we want. This is the man with the plan. It's my thing.
There you go. So, Brother Alan, the final question to you. What are some of the concerns in your constituency and how your leadership style is going to navigate, right, the progress where that is concerned?
All right, so you have the concerns. I'll break them down. The overarching concern in the constituency is really safety, to feel safe. We all acknowledge the numbers going down. As Steve said earlier, the numbers might be going down, but that sense of, that feeling of safety is just not there. You know, we don't feel safe because we know what we know. Numbers might be going down. That's for a number of reasons. You know, one of the chief reasons people give why the numbers have gone down is that the youngsters have took to the border. It's not that there was any sophisticated intervention from anybody, you know. But that is the major issue, to get that. If that is basically the prerequisite, I think, for many of the initiatives that will be geared towards social transformation, to get that feeling back. The engagements that we are planning is really about citizens' participation, strengthening back those community-based organizations. I was on another program speaking about how it is, or we have Montego Bay has, it feels a little bit different now. And I'm saying the credit, all the credit must go. And I said all, and I mean it. All the credit must go to those community organizations that never left. The church is an important organization. I hear people bash the church every day, but church in St. James have done tremendously well to hold the ground. The CDCs that are active, the other community-based organizations, the youth groups that are active, it is their resilience coupled with partnerships that they have with law enforcement. That is it, you know. That is it. You have to acknowledge and recognize that communities, because out of necessity, they can't go anywhere. Bujabant and say who can afford to run will run, but what about those who can't? They'll have to stay. That is where you're from. You can't go nowhere. You can't pack up. You don't have a visa to go anywhere. So you stay and you hold ground. You build. And I give credit to all those organizations. And they have been working and partnering with many organizations, including the police, to get more positive youth engagements going. That is a big part of what I will be supporting going forward, advancing going forward. These are the things that Steve McGregor and I had championed over 20 years ago coming forward. We had a third edition to the community-based policing manual. We did that. My end working with development partners who funded, and Mr. McGregor and work with the JCF who was heading the community safety and security branch. And we developed those kind of documentations and guidance for the community. So safety and security, big. I am appalled at times to know that you still have spaces in Montego Bay, and I don't know how many of you know Montego Bay, like the rest of us are from Montego Bay, that have no water. Incredulous. And I discovered this when I begin to walk the nook and cranny of some of the communities that I wouldn't have been so present in. It's a serious issue with water in many of the communities. You wouldn't believe that you have water flourishing all over the North Coast, just less than 2 minutes away, and the persons do not have water. The infrastructure is ridiculous in many of these communities to say that we are part and parcel of what is demarcated at the second city. So we have to look at those. Water is a crucial issue. Megitop, South Springs, part of Norwood, part of Flanker, no water. You know, and people are, you know, it's just incredible. That's an important thing that we have to look at going forward. There's also the perennial challenge with employment. And again, that is primarily among young people. We had a conversation with a group of young people over the weekend, and we admit that, you know, the private sector can't absorb everybody. So what do we do? And a big part of what I will bring into Northwest St. James is what we have done in many communities across Kingston under development projects, which is promoting what we call social enterprise. A new concept. Social, you have the private sector and then you have the public sector. The private sector, as you refer to as the, you know, first economy, second economy, and then you have that third sector, which is the social sector. How it is that you create economic value through social value creation. Sounds theoretical now, but we have done it. We have done it in Rockford, we have done it in Gregory Park. We have important cases to show you how you can take on a social issue that addresses ills in your community and transform that into a business. You know, we have just seen the appointment of Professor Dale at the University of West Indies for him to be looking at the ocean and the blue economy. You have the blue economy, you have the green economy, you have the silver economy. Silver economy is a growing economy because you have an aging population. A lot of services are to be provided to an aging population. We have the gray economy, economy is information. Most of these young people are very much into information. They do not know how to harness it, but they're very much into the information age. The green economy is still unexplored. Look at a community like Flower Hill, lands galore. Farming at a very basic level. We have just pardoned Marcus Garvey at a basic level. Garvey said, if you're not feeding yourself, you're doomed. We're working on those. So, and again, the details will come. The details will come.
All right.
There are strategies, and these are strategies that are idiosyncratic to Northwest St. James because these are the issues based on what the data would have presented to us.
All right, thank you for that, brother Allen. Let me just see you back and have Brother Rattigan in the space. Brother Rattigan?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Cool.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah. You know, Mystic, I tell you, I really don't know where to start. Let me start by saying to Pastor Ricky that I apologize. I forget my document, and I'm severely challenged technical wise, but I'm going to get him that document. But what I'd like to do is let me share a screen here. Miss Anne-Marie, could you please put that up? And this is directed to Alan. Alan, I want you to take a look at this. See that, Alan? I'm sure you're familiar with that, right? Can't hear you.
I am seeing it and I'm familiar with it. And I'm sure my comrade who chastised me the meeting is familiar with it as well.
Well, before you started talking this, I started making notes and said, I hope you're going to be talking about not only the failure of the candidate to deliver on the promises, but also the candidate himself. There is a lot of information. You see, around us up, Mystic, Pastor Ricky, even the youngster, Jamaica, reach out to us. We have all the information, right? Most of it are foreign, and we have access to things where you in Jamaica, you don't have access to. So reach out to us, and if the idea is you're going to challenge the candidate, because look, he's a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. The man is a medical doctor. And when you go and you look, did a program recently and we looked at his CV. And we looked at his CV put out by the government of Jamaica. The first paragraph is about him being a medical doctor, setting up clinics, getting involved with all kinds of treatment plans and all that. Second one, and you mentioned water. The second one was about him being instrumental in getting loans to develop water programs for Jamaica. The third paragraph, more water. Fourth one, more water. And the fifth one, you know what it says? He brings a wealth of experience to the security sector. I don't see the connection between medical services, medical training, water, and security. I don't see it. And that's why they have this man confused, because the Prime Minister has given him the mandate to provide safety and security for Jamaica. So now the man stopped thinking like a doctor. I remember he was the water boy now. No disrespect, but if you look at his CV, that's what he was in charge of. And now they put him in charge of security. So that's why when you see the pastor drop down the other day, him cock him 10 and him could never even want to get up. And the Prime Minister said to him,
he was shot.
Yeah, get up and say, go deal with the man, right? So you need to really, the information is there. Just reach out to us. Let me just move this.
I will.
You can move that for me then? Oh, well on.
No, he must move it.
I have to move it.
All right, let me remove from stage.
Okay, all right, cool. And then, Alan, you mentioned no water in areas of Montego Bay. I find that to be incredulous. I find it to be astounding. You know why? Because I went back and I looked at the JLP's 2016 manifesto. I don't want to put it up right now and show it because, you know, I have to yield to the panelists. But I looked at the 2016 and the 2020 manifestos. Nothing but water and I not all them out, take care of the problem, blah, blah, blah. But here's something now I'm going to ask you. Does Jamaica have a desalination plant?
Not to my knowledge. I had conversation with someone from the technical area that used to work in that particular ministry, and the issue always come up. And I think he said to me, and I don't want to quote me, but he said that whenever time it comes up, the pushback come in terms of it's unsustainable. I don't know what that means. That's all it is.
All right. I don't have time to show you. But according to their manifesto, Jamaica does have desalination plants, plural. And there was one in Moses Bay, something like that, a place named Moses Bay near Ferry, right? And everybody at Google and I try to find Moses Bay, and Moses Bay end up in a Washington state, the other side of which probably there in America. So,
what are you saying to me? What are you saying to me?
You know what? No, I'll find it to you before the night done. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you.
I think people not going to check.
I mean, you need a program for this because I would consult with my colleague because he was a part of it, but he never explained this to me.
All right. Now, I'm going to show it to you before the night done. But here's what. Here's a question I want to put to you and Steve now. Well, let me talk to Steve a little bit. Right? But now he's off of you. Let me just talk to Steve. Now, Steve, there was something called Plan Secure Jamaica, which is supposed to be a national security plan, including a crime plan. That's what we were told back in 2016. Then there was something called the Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee in 2020, just before the election. And who was supposed to be the chairman of that? Well, we have Lloyd Distant. But the minister himself, the water gentleman, the man who is the security man, the man who is the medical man, he was supposed to be a part of that. And the man was noticeably absent from most of these meetings. So we can't have no faith and confidence that he's all about the safety and security of Jamaica. Now, you did mention something, both of you saying that the numbers have gone down, but that the fear factor is still there. I submit to you that the numbers have not gone down. Even today, I received stuff from the statistics department at JCF. Very close to them. And what they have done is they've shifted the numbers. So, for example, if you go to death investigations, you see some bodies in there from 2016 that they haven't been able to declare how these people died from 2016. And the last time we checked, which was that particular category, as of last year, May or June, they had 300 and some odd people in that. And I've been pressing them. I said, tell me how them people are dead. And then they moved them, reclassified them. I would say, okay, what was the basis for the reclassification and where were they reclassified to? Not to mention the suicide category, not to mention the self-defense category. And then we have the missing persons. And I've been telling my Jamaican people that if you have people missing from 2016 or so, go to court and have the person declared dead so we can get them in the stats. Here's a question I have for both of you. Jamaica no manufacture nothing, right? We know that. Just go back and look at the stats from Statin that they put out in December. If you look at the trade deficit, it's about, I don't know, 3-4 billion. So we don't manufacture nothing. We depend heavily on remittances and tourism. So we're subject to all kinds of economic shocks. Here is the question. We have watched over the past 9 years or so, and we have listened over the past 9 years to a lot of promises, and those promises have been largely unfulfilled. When this government is voted out by the people before September 3rd of this year, you are not going to get a functional government. When I say functional, meaning when you go inside it, there'll be no money there. There'll be lots of debt. And so the question then is, people are not going to I don't know if people will give you a honeymoon period to say, well, things mash up and so we'll give them 4 years to fix it. Question and take a lot. The question is, what is your plan getting in? Let us say the election call tomorrow, and you go in, and when you look, there's nothing there. What is your plan now? And how do you explain to people that, listen, things that we promised, we probably won't be able to deliver immediately because the resources are not there.
All right, I will start it, Alan. And let me say, my friend, your analysis for a man that is not in Jamaica and the fact that you touch on death investigation. I've been a police officer for over 41 years. I've never heard a civilian accurately qualify that side because most people outside of the police force don't understand it. And because we are inside, even though we might have issue, we can't speak about it. But I can speak about it now because I'm on the other side. And you're so correct. We're a country that is murdering over 1,000 people per year for the last 25 years. So it cannot be a normal place. So we must have a strategy that is going to deal with that fear of crime side. And they look at it. You know, when I was a police officer, I told a lot of people that I rather the guns not firing than finding guns. Because if you find guns and the situation that occasion people wanting to have the guns to fire still prevail, they are going to find more guns. And you find guns when the guns are raised, mean they are not in any far place. So you find them easily. So finding guns don't necessarily will solve the situation. Dealing with the situations within the individual communities that cause them to want to have the gun is the way to go. And I'll just give you a tip on it because we don't want to go into it. That is where we are going to be focusing. That is exactly where we'll be focusing. So the divisional commanders in the respective divisions will have to go out to make that connect with the citizens to know. You know that 5 people will be killed because a young girl from down the bottom of the road go up the top of the road to buy something. And a man called to her and said, boy, baby, you're fat, you know. And she go back down the road and tell her friend or Dan down there. And 5 people get killed for that. If we have a system within the communities that is dealing with these things before we can deal with that, and that is part of the strategy that we'll be coming with. Policing the communities with the consent of the citizens, making the citizens the centerpiece of whatever strategy we have. And Alan knows what I'm talking about because we used to sit and talk and I explained it to him why we need to go this way. This is what I used in West Kingston. This is what I used in Rockford when I was made the first police officer of the year. When they have it. So it is something that I've been studying for some time. My thesis that I had for my master's degree was etched on making a safe community in inner city areas. So we're going to roll out someplace. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to be the Minister of National Security, but that is not my call. But I will make my expertise available to our Prime Minister, and we will craft a proper crime plan. We won't have the time, just like you said, but we will properly craft a crime plan that will make a difference as against what they have now.
Steve, one quick second. Just to add something to what you just said about the guns. I just received information today. Well, listen, going back to what the Minister of National Security said, from the time he said it until now, he said 200 guns come to the island illegally. 200 illegal guns come per month. When you add up the time he said it until now, 16,000 guns come to Jamaica. And you know what they told me today? In writing, they told me that they have recovered, for that period, they've recovered 6,000 guns. 16,000 come in, you know, and this is just a conservative estimate. 16,000 guns come in, and then recover 6,000. No, we're not good for maths, but I think we're missing 10,000. So
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro.
I want to say the two questions, but the 2 points you raised before you ask the question, Sir Artegan. So I just want to quickly say, Peter Bunting would have put out an article pretty much in response to a lot of what was going on about the reduction in crime figures, and would have said exactly what you said. We have a reduction, but we still have a category that we have not yet classified. You know, about no men, that caveat doesn't come with the reduction. So it's a misread, is what we're saying. You know, and he would have put that out. I myself would have crafted a press release and put out in a similar way, responding to the security minister's pronouncement that they have a new strategy that is called focus deterrence. You know, just pull words out of the ear, which is really repackaging a lot of what we would have done under Unite for Change, really moving away from his previous indictment on himself by casting aspirations, if not dismissing totally the usefulness of social intervention as part and parcel of a broader strategy. So they constantly use different terminologies to characterize the same approaches that were done, not even repackaging them, you know, trying to say they are doing something. So there's a lot of issues regarding how they appreciate doing an activity, an initiative, a program versus a strategy that will be more sustainable, bring down the crime rate and the feeling of fear in a more sustainable way. So I just want to say that about the security piece. But the bigger question is the question you asked about that honeymoon period. Within my different persons who I speak to for advice and so on, these are not necessarily party people, but those technical people, you know, trying to think these things through. This oftentimes come up. You know, you're correct. There's going to be a lot of gaps in a budget that we will inherit, or in an economy that we will inherit. And so we have to, I'd say, a strategy that I am practicing from now is to prepare the constituents for that. And they understand, given the heights of corruption that's taking place, they understand, given the reports, in particular reports coming out of the Auditor General, they understand that help to support our position to say, look, this is what is happening. These are the things we need to clean up. And you would see that some of the municipalities that we got control of, and especially Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, and we are now cleaning up the process. They understand that something gone awry under this government, and that they can't be expecting for us to be running out there improving lives at day one. And so that has to be part and parcel, because we ourselves have crafted a strategy for the economy. Again, you'll hear about that soon. But you're correct. You're correct. We will inherit an economy with so much holes that we might inherit nothing at all. So I think for us, when I'm talking to my strategists, not party people now, this is what they have said to me. They have said, Alan, listen, the PNP can't run into office and change everything lock, stock, and barrel. The PNP has to go in, allow bureaucrats to work alongside them, understand where it is that they're at, what it is that they have, before we begin to. But again, the patience from the people will be important. What will also be important, Sir Artegan, we have to go with a big margin. If we go into Parliament with a small margin, governing will be a nightmare. They will block every single solitary thing that we come with just for us to look bad. So I appreciate your analysis, and I concur with Comrade McGregor. You know, for someone who's not in Jamaica, to have your finger on the pulse of pretty much everything, you know, I lift my hat off to you. But this is something that certainly we're looking at. And I had said earlier before you arrived that I only have an hour, and so I'll have to leave the platform now. But I will be contacting you through Sir Baron, of course, regarding that piece of information, or the pieces of information on such man, because we need to begin to get that message out there. But we can't do it without the evidence.
All right.
I thank you, my mystic friends. I thank you, Sir Baron. I've been up from 4 a.m. on the street
Yes.
working, and I have to take my leave of you. Give thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll see you soon, brother Alan. I'll be in your place.
Please.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Jamaica. Pastor Ricky, you want to take the floor?
Yeah, thank you. Big up SSP, Comrade Steve. Yeah, me too walk through Gully and drop out a Deanery Road and go to Purity, go drink soup and go through St. Joseph Hospital, go thief mango back in the days as a youth.
Start the thing.
We know the thing set and we race borders, put Q-tips on the tip of it and get up. So we know when our ass win. So you know as growing up in the garrison. But my question, I'm glad you touched on community policing, because if the police is not having intelligence to preempt a crime before it happened, then they're basically reacting after the fact of a crime happening. And so you need the community if you're going to be able, as Sir Rattigan said, to solve these cold cases that even go way back from 2016. So we see this current government, how they're, in my opinion, these are human rights violation when they send out the police into a community and there seem like there's war and conflict between the regular citizens who are law-abiding citizens and the police. So over the years, we see like it's in my opinion, it's like the people don't trust the police officer. So with your strategy of community policing, how can you bridge that divide where the police are more, they're crime fighters, we're not taking the role away from them. The mandate is to solve and keep the peace, protect, serve, and reassure. But how can you bridge the divide where the citizen now trusts the police and is willing to work with them? Because, you know, the culture we from, you're informer if you got to talk to police. And then the second question is, the national security minister right now, as Rattigan pointed out, he's not a crime fighter. He's a medical doctor. He's a misfit and a mismatch for his position. So it shows you that the prime minister is not a strategist, and he's not competent, because you need a crime fighter. And me, I got asked Comrade Leader Mark Golan for make you be the national security minister, because the truth of the matter is, three first world countries, the UK, Canada, and the US, all issued travel advisory against Jamaica, warning their citizens not to travel to Jamaica because of crime is highly extreme in Jamaica and the health system is deplorable. And I think it would appease the Americans if they have Jamaica have a crime fighter, you know, that they can trust to say, okay, the Jamaica is serious about reducing crime. So how would you reach out now to the youth them? Like when we grew up in a Kingston, Franklin Town, and then we moved to Vineyard Town, if you not get involved in a war going in the area, the garrison, man, I go say a informer. So them are recruit youth from 13 all the way up to 2021. So whether you come from a good family or not, you have to get involved in a war going in the community, because when man a Jim Screech across the border, you are for dead for help hold on the fort as a youth in the community. And Chang said that them have over 379 gangs, and he was able to bust that in half. But you and I know that every time you kill a Don, tomorrow another Don rise up. So that not make no sense what Chang promote. So as a crime fighter yourself, how would you bridge the divide to, you know, bring the youth them along with what the initiatives that are good for the community, so them not wind up spoil them one community with crime? I know it's
All
a
right.
long question, but
Yeah, I understand. But firstly, I'll start by saying a popular sociologist, Durkheim, said deviant behavior will be with us until the end of time. So I don't craft myself as a crime fighter, but as a crime manager, because we manage crime. And that is one of the mistakes that we do. We don't go at fighting. So when you manage crime, you must understand what we are talking about. How you are going to understand crime within the community if you don't make that necessary connect with the citizens. And you hear I speak about it, and it's very critical. And it doesn't happen overnight. All the divisions that I've commanded whilst I was a police officer, when I'm leaving the block the road, because of the relationship that I developed with them. In West Kingston, they used to have a party, a celebration that they call don't remember the name. It came to me just when I was thinking about it. Um Jamboree. Yes, the Jamboree. The then commissioner said to me, Mr. McGregor, too much shut up around our West. We not allow the Jamboree this year. Mr. Boss, I saw the people that make a thing and eat a food, you know. I think I can manage it. Him say, well, we send any resources to you, so you will have to manage this, and it is your career that is on the line. And I called a meeting over by the Tivoli sport complex there. And all the dons from the different community, I call them. I remember one of the dons, clearly a man came and like he was called Peter. And one of the other dons from the other angle said to me, come whisper and say, Bossy, I know him or the don up there, and I make him send for John Tom. And John Tom came who was the real don. So for that meeting, I had every corners covered, who was running where and what, and I made my notes. And that is what I use to manage what was. We don't live in the communities, we the police, you know, but they have their own. So I put the spotlight on all the supposed dons in the community and let them stand up on the county and Mr. Friend. If you're gonna say you run a place, you know, when I call you and ask you what go on up there, you should be able to tell me. And they used to report to me like, oh, my commanding officer from the different, my station commanders report to me. And the rest is history. So you see, when I tell you about policing with the consent of the people, it's a pretty talk, you know. And a lot of people will say they are doing it. But when you test it and you venture in the community and you say, who is the commanding officer? They don't know him. So they are not telling the truth. Who is the operation? They don't know him. I am going to institute, well, let me say it another way because I can't say that I will be. I am a newcomer in the politics. I'm coming in with a lot of knowledge and expertise that will be made available to my prime minister when he comes in. And you can guarantee that I will be a part of a team that will craft a proper crime plan to manage the situation in Jamaica. And you just remember that Steve McGregor told you that tonight, and you hold me to it. All right? How that sounds?
Love that. The confidence.
yeah,
Love
man.
that.
Thank you.
All right, because you know we know that might be a struck for time, Steve, and we have to take that in consideration.
Yeah, because I run now myself too, because you
Yeah.
have me here.
All right, we don't want to burn you out too long, but for Jamaics, let us squeeze in Jamaics in this, in terms of asking you a question.
Hey, good evening again, Mr. McGregor. Sorry.
Blessings, bro.
Um,
Blessings.
After understanding your history and how effective your crime plan has been for over 41 years of service, I must commend you again on that. And just listening to you, I get to pick up some of the strategies that you have. And it shows how effective you talk about managing crime, and we're talking about conflict resolution, and that sounds very good. You talk about the unattached youths and the unattached people, and that's very, very good as well. And with Mr. Rattigan now, with this information that moving from 200 guns to now 16,000 guns and recovering only 6,000, this sparks a problem for us. And it means that or well, the unattached youths are much equipped, and with them being much equipped, then it's going to breed crime and violence all over the place. And I remember Mr. Wilfred Rattigan saying that, what is the strategy, given that you're gonna inherit a government that will be depleted, and it is a fact. We're hearing that so much money, over $200 and odd billion being spent in security, then we don't have cameras. Jamaica eyes are giving trouble. The minister is saying that it is the card that they're having issues with. And we think about, where is the maintenance strategy? Where is the process of that? We're now in a modern era which we are using innovative type of security, and there was no pre-plan putting into that. And so my question is, I remember you spoke about the joint police military operation that happened in 2010 versus an incursion, because it's widely known in the space that it was an incursion. And just quickly to talk about advocacy, as Mr. Rattigan had asked about what you would do to start, and I'm saying about engaging the diaspora who have the expertise that can also be joined with your understanding of the ground, and just have a symbiotic relationship to effectively carry out your duty. So I'm looking forward to see your team. And the question again, the joint military operation versus the incursion, just to give Jamaicans a bit of understanding between the two.
Well, it really was a joint police military operation. It was not an incursion. It was properly. I'll tell you this. That was the closest we had come to putting a lid on our crime situation in Jamaica. But we took our foot off the gas. We were pressured. Well, let me say, we just did not manage it well. If we had hit home the advantage that we had and took it home, we would have been well on our way. Nobody wanted to be called a Don or a this anywhere. We had them on the run. But people were, chastised. I don't even want to talk about it. You know what I mean? What happened? But I just think that we missed a real boat there to take home the thing and bring back Jamaica to where it was. We missed that. So we need to now get back to the drawing board and to see how we can arrest this situation, because we have not prioritized national security in the way that we should. Because most of the governance and some of my party team must take some, because we were in for a while, because I get the feeling that any governance team that properly sort out our crime situation, it might cost you a tenure at office, because it is going to be a swallowing a bitter pill for the country to come back to where it is. So we kind of don't want to keep it in a consistent way, but we are going to have to get there if we want to make Jamaica. Jamaica is an oasis, This place that we call home, if we properly manage it. Crime and doing manufacturing in Jamaica with the cost of security is an hindrance to us. So if we manage the crime situation, it will have a domino effect on a lot of other sectors in our country. And this is what I'm going to bring to the table to add to the discussion with our teams when we are putting together a proper crime plan for our country. Yes, sir.
All right. Wonderfully stated, dear Steve. I just want to ask you the final question for the night, because I know you have to run. Right. Let me just go at it right then and there. The Prime Minister has 28 accounts, statutory declaration for 3 years consecutively not being certified. Right. The Prime Minister also making an attempt to eliminate the Corruption Act, Section 14, subsection 3. Question: why MOCA is not pursuing an investigation in this matter, since the Constitution gave the power to do so?
Well, I can't say much on that right now. That's not my call. Not at all. You know what I mean? And I doubt if Alan would have tried to answer that. That's out of our pay grade right
Okay.
now. We're about representational politics right now, trying to win a seat to put ourselves in parliament to impact our different sectors in our way. So I'm going to divert that one. I'm going to, what I say, leave alone in the cricket term.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All
All
right.
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 But me have a let go now. And
Yeah.
guys, you can choke my back anytime. This
All
is
right.
nice. I will come back and we will speak further. All right?
All right.
Yeah,
Blessings.
bless up. Bless up.
Blessings. All right. So there you have the man at the moment, right? Steve McGregor, right? Solid candidate, right? And so then people remember for persons who in the Kingston Central area, right? Steve, right, has the mandate to move that constituency forward. So please, people, support Steve. Man of experience, you understand, man that have the discipline, the core, the energy, the tenacity, you understand, to make sure that the community progress in a positive way. All right. Now, since we have Steve out of the way, let us go into some little bit of excitement and try to visit over by Cliff Hughes. Why not? Now go over this. We can take a little walk over Brother Cliff. Without any delay on a TikTok visit to discover video. All right. I want to talk to Brother Cliff. Right? Put in some excitement in tonight's show. Ratty, I see you smile when I said I'm going over by Brother Cliff.
This one?
Yeah. Let's just start to steam it up.
See people business on Give me a big seat up on the heavenly show. Everybody, hallelujah. We are something, we are something, we are something, we are something. See people business and leave it alone. Everybody,
all right. Take that away. Take that away. Right? We tell them, say if them can't face the heat in the kitchen, them need to leave the kitchen. Right? So we are getting into the kitchen tonight. All right, without any delay on it. Play Brother Cliff complaining because the fire getting too hot, right? And he's burning up. So let us get into that quickly.
But I want to begin with this because I know, like you do, we have been seeing a lot of things. We, enemy, acknowledge the public comments made by certain individuals. However, on the advice of legal counsel, we will not comment publicly at this time. We will not comment publicly at this time. As a matter is being addressed by the appropriate authorities in accordance with the applicable laws, rules, and regulations. In addition, we are unable to comment on the authenticity of certain documents currently in circulation, except to confirm that the matter has been duly reported to the relevant authorities. That is a statement from we here at Nationwide News Network. Okay? Thing I want to say this morning is related to what is being said online. We are constrained by our legal advice. But we will say this. What you see has one objective. That is to intimidate us into silence from doing our work. Intimidate us. And let me just make it known that we know that that is the objective, to intimidate us here at Nationwide into not doing our work as we see fit. These people are acting in unison and collusion for one objective. Shut up Cliff Hughes. Shut up Nationwide. You're not going to succeed. You've tried it before and it didn't work. And it's not going to work now. So be mindful of that. We know what you're about.
Take that away.
But we are acting on legal advice.
Well, let me talk to him. Right? Whether you want to act on legal advice, yes or no. Now, we are saying to you, right, Big Mama, that indeed you have 10 write-off, right? And of course, right, where you're showing nil returns, right, in terms of your company. But Mystic Sensation is going to say to you tonight that you are not a credible person. And I'm going to prove it with facts. So when we say, Mystic Sensation is saying that you are not a credible person, you understand, we are going to present the evidence in showing you, right, and show John public as it relates to you not being a credible person. And you see, here it is, where someone, right, put out information as it relates to your company, right, in debt as it relates to all the government revenue, right, which is, of course, indeed a fact. Indeed a fact. But likewise, you're a propaganda media, I am going to show the people the evidence, right? Supreme Court document as it relates to you being a propagandist. So then, this is proof number one to show the entire world that you are a discredible person, right? Without any delay, let us go to Supreme Court. That you are not a credible person. You are not a credible person. I'm going to show the evidence, right, why you are not a credible person. We know why you are doing it, right? You're a spin machine, right? You're a spin doctor. So let us talk to you. Here's the evidence, Cliff Hughes. Right? Here it is. You remember this, Cliff Hughes? Now, since you're talking about going to your lawyer and this and that, right? Patterson James Percival versus Cliff Hughes and Nationwide News Network Limited, right? Case number 2010, right? In the Supreme Court of Judicature of Jamaica in Civil Division. That means the Prime Minister had studio, right, between Percival James Patterson, claimant, and Cliff Hughes, first defendant, and Nationwide News Network Limited, second defendant. Mr. K.D. Knight, who are defending the claimant, Mr. K.D. Knight, QC, Mr. Bent Samuels, Mr. Matthew Beckford, and Ms. States Knight, instructed by Messrs. Knight, Jr., and Samuels for the claimant. For the claimant, they are defending P.J. Patterson at the time he was Prime Minister. Lord Anthony Gifford, QC, which is KC now, and Miss Annika Gray, instructed by Gifford Thompson and Bright for the defendant. You, Cliff Hughes, being the defendant. So Lord Anthony Gifford, QC, and Miss Annika Gray, right, defending you. November 26, 27, 28, 29, 2013, May 9, and October 30, 2014. Defamation. Here it is, Cliff Hughes. You are not a credible person. Defamation. Damages sought for libel. Whether words defamatory, qualified privilege. Right? Let us read. Now, number one, on the 15th day of May 2009, listeners to the radio station Nationwide News Network, NNN, the second defendant, awoke to what was described as breaking news. You remember when you shout out breaking news? Breaking news. Because you love the propaganda business. Well, you see where the propaganda business land you. The item of the news was delivered by Mr. Cliff Hughes, the first defendant, and the managing director of NNN, along with Miss Emily Crooks, the then host and managing producer of the morning news and current affairs program named This Morning. So we know the grievance where you carry for the People's National Party, you know, you're Emily Crooks. We know the grievance, you understand, because you were sued. Now, so there is the evidence, right, as it relates to P.J. Patterson. Take that away. Let me talk to the people. P.J. Patterson, right, took him to court and won, right, beat him on defamation of character. So from then until now, Cliff Hughes have beef with the People's National Party as a result of that. Evidence number one, right? So all the beef that you are carrying in your stomach was to the fact that you spread propaganda, right, under then Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. And yet, you were corrected, right, in terms of your defamation. You were sued, and you have lost the case. And so then, from ever since, right, the People's National Party seems to be, right, such where you're pursuing your grievance against the People's National Party. So that is evidence in terms of the beef that you are carrying against the People's National Party. And now, yes, you are defending the situation as it relates to, of course, your institution, right? Who in the government revenues, right? Right? Is it true or false? Is it true? It's facts, right? So then let me just go to Pastor Ricky. If Pastor Ricky has anything to say before we proceed again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sir Byron. In addition to what you said, this is generalship 101, man. The art of generalship. He's the one who's trying to silence us from speaking out and trying to intimidate us. So he switched it around. Reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, what he needs to do is to confirm, do you owe $1.2 billion in taxes, or deny you don't owe $1.2 billion? Why is it that you cannot pay taxes annually that is due when you're collecting GCT tax education tax, NIS tax, NHT tax, you know, the pool of taxes that he collects from his employee that he's supposed to pay back to the government. Furthermore, he gets a lot of government contracts. So you should not be filing nil because you have millions of dollars flowing into your company. Plus, you have sponsors that purchase airtime on your program. So the spotlight, you know, criminals don't like when the spotlight turn on them. They run to use words of my lawyer and run to the courts to try to silence those who now is looking at them. He lost the moral ground. He has no moral authority, no moral standing. I mean, we have so much video evidence of this corrupt person who daily launch attacks against people credibility in favor of political favors. And that's what he do for a living. He has no moral standing. Let him file whatever lawsuit. As we all know, these things are going to go into discovery. He will be forced to produce documents and evidence. The burden of proof will be on him. And then everybody will know for sure. Where is his confirmation that he paid his taxes? Show us the confirmation. Publish it in the Observer, the Gleaner, or even on your station. Let the Jamaican people know, because $1.2 billion plus 10 write-off is a lot of money that can feed the poor people in Jamaica, that can help children and buy school tablets and equipments for school. When we are go school in a Jamaica, we are right on slate. You know what I mean? Today, children want tablets in schools. You see what I'm saying? So $1.2 billion, a highway robbery that, man. Come on, pay your taxes, man. That's constitutionally every right that every citizen, the government need taxes to build a country. Without taxes, they can't provide the services and the programs that they're supposed to do, you know, for the people. So you are a disgrace, and you are the person, you're one of the person that is causing the Jamaica people to suffer. And that's all I would say for now. Amen.
Okay, well, I am going to thank you for that solid input there, Pastor Rick, and I like how you're dwelt in on nil returns. We are going to speak about nil returns, and I'm going to bring Brother Rattigan in the space as well. Now, we have seen situation as it relates to what we look on some documents, right? As it relates to the subject that we are speaking about, nil returns, right? And let us speak in terms of what nil returns mean. What nil return mean is for, like, as it relates to the institution, right, for the year, right, or annually speaking, that they did not make a profit, or the company is inactive. Now we know that in the subject that we are speaking about, it is not inactive. And so then the question in terms of where we have seen similar pattern, Ratty, as it relates to Andrew Owness, similar pattern as it relates to Andrew Owness, right? Company that file nil return. But yet, Brother Ratty, that very same company is lending one of his entity $20 million, Ratty. Can you speak on that for us? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Let me say, I don't know much about Mr. Confused. I don't know much about the situation, but the one thing I can tell him, I see him pointing his finger in this day and telling people, and in anger, telling people that, you know, then he restrain from saying anything now based on the advice of legal counsel, as if to say pretty soon he will be saying something. Well, let me tell him something. And I think he knows this because he pointed out the previous lawsuit. He has some experience with lawsuits, and Pastor Ricky pointed out something that's very, very important, people. I don't want to lose this. Pastor Ricky mentioned a process called discovery. It's a very dangerous process, especially when you're guilty, because that is when the one of them get the documents from you, that is when them put in the hot seat and them have something called deposition, where them start question you. And guess what? You have to answer the questions them. You can't say me no answer. You have to answer the questions them. And then there's another factor to it. And it's this. I can say anything I want about anyone, provided it's true.
Provided it's true.
Provided it's true. Because truth is a complete defense to any action against you for defamation of character. If you can show that I said this man was a crook, and you show that the man exhibited crooked tendencies and involved in crooked behavior, you're fine. You don't get thrown out. Say enough worry about that. No, regarding this nil filing of taxes or the nil taxes, you know, this is crazy because this now is not even conjecture. This is something that the Integrity Commission came out with and say, yeah, the companies, the foundation, the media company, our Imperium,
yes,
yeah, all of them.
Media.
Yeah, Positive Media, Positive Jamaica Foundation, them say them file nil taxes. So we must do now, he must go fight with Integrity Commission and say, you guys lied, I pay taxes. But you know what? If you go and you look at his statement, nowhere in there did he say we pay taxes. Nowhere in there did he say no. My three companies, these guys are lying. We pay taxes. They never said it. And how can you, as a prime minister, asking every Jamaican to pay their fair share of taxes, but you seem to be above the law? And above the law meaning tax laws as well, that you don't file no taxes even though your company showed that they were engaged in business. They were engaged in business, and in some instances profit, you had profit and loss, so you have to file something. You file nil taxes. I don't understand this. Just as how ADMAT was established overseas and ended up purchasing high-end properties, plural, in Jamaica. But you're telling people, no, you must invest in Jamaica. You know, you have this vehicle where you claim is an estate planning vehicle. Poor people have not like that estate planning vehicle. We have not like that. We have not like that. But this is so typical. And I mean, I'm looking at the government and how it's performing. And we never want to start with the performance metrics. But I'll give you a quick example of how these people, I'm looking for a word, it escapes me now, but Arbin Hill, Senator Arbin Hill, Minister of what? Investment and was IIC, something like that, right? This man came on, last week, a post-cab meeting, and he said, and give some examples and said, no, we need to invest in Jamaica. And give 4 examples or 4 things to do. One of them was encourage people to invest in Jamaica. Yet, we found out that this man traveled to Guyana in 2022, 2023, 2024. And who did he go with? Businessmen from Jamaica, encouraging them to invest where? In Guyana.
Exactly. See?
So, and get up and I tell people, no, you must invest in Jamaica. And this is not like he went to Guyana 10 years ago, you know. In fact, I'm looking for the 2025 trip to happen pretty soon because he went 2022, 2023, 2024. Hypocrites, that's the word I'm looking for. These are a bunch of hypocrites and vipers. You cannot believe these people because they're going to lead you down the wrong path. And how do I know this? Because of their record. By their fruits ye shall know them.
Exactly.
They've done it before. They continue to do it, and they will continue to do it. So this idea of nil taxes, man, it's a bad reflection on the government, particularly the prime minister. The optics just and you know what? You know, Byron, the more I look at statements coming out of the prime minister and his affiliates, his associates, his confederates, the more I believe that they're they're giving the impression that something all right up yourself. But we know it's calculated.
Exactly.
We know them,
Exactly.
man. No man, yeah. When you have this man you know come out and say he might go sue his own government. He must sue his own government. Then you say to yourself, we don't understand this. If me I sue the government, fine. But you have the prime minister sue the government and him claims that he must sue them in a personal capacity, but whatever he's claiming happened in his official capacity because he didn't file. The Integrity Commission claimed that there was something wrong with his statutory declarations, right? And then the window in promote Dr. Derek McCoy. Dr. Derek McCoy was contractor general. Promote him to commissioner, one of the first commissioners on the Integrity Commission. Then the man resigned, and about 2 years later, he make him attorney general. And the law says if you're suing the state, in essence, you're suing the crown. Jamaica's subject to that based on our constitution. You're suing the crown. And the law says if you're suing the crown, you must have the attorney general as a party to the action. Our prime minister, with his brilliant advisors, well-paid advisors, them never see that rule here, or them see it, but them say our friend, we can't bring him in here. And so what them do? Them sue after they were so after him sued the Integrity Commission, and so director of information and complaints, and him sue director of investigations, right? And sue the commission itself. And you see what the judge do? That judge is an idiot. The judge gave him 28 things. The judge gave him take fling with 25 and give him 3 where she know him going to lose, man. And on top of that, the judge said to him on the 7th, she said, you know what, Mr. Prime Minister? Yeah, so the state, you know. So here where you don't know. Go serve your friend, Mr. Dr. Derek McCoy. Go serve him and make him come and defend the crown, because you have sued the crown. You see how these people think? You see how them think? And then now they want to come and tell the Jamaican people that we have provided prosperity for you. We have provided prosperity for you. So what I must say to the people is that we're ungrateful because look, we have the lowest unemployment rate. Look at things that we're doing in the country. We're fixing roads. Look at how much money we're spending on hospitals. Look at housing. Look at water. We have desalination plants. We're not talking about. We're gonna wrap up.
You preach, sir. Preach.
Yeah, and if you just stop, that's why we're saying we want people.
There must be a wonderland somewhere in all of these.
we want people to be critical thinkers, Ronnie. That's why we tell people and we encourage them. We tell them, look, tune into Mystic Sensation and all the other programs that are providing you with information for you to think through these issues, because we don't want no legacy voters when time comes for vote. We want informed voters.
Yes.
So I'll leave with that, sir.
All right, wonderfully said, Brother Rattigan. And let me just turn to Jamaica and just inject Jamaica in the space. Brother Jamaica, just come into the space, right?
Thank you. And we want to think about this. If I should come into your house, Mystic Sensation, Brother Pastor Ricky, and also Mr. Rattigan, coming into your house and dumping garbage on your bed. People also in the comment section, I want to ask you the same question. How would you feel? How would you react to me wanting to dump garbage on your bed? If your answer is angry, then don't let Nationwide and Mr. Cliff Hughes dump garbage in your head. St. Augustine said, lion, the truth is like a lion. You set it free and it will defend itself. This man cannot defend himself in the public. Simple means that he's guilty, in my assumption, in my humble assumption. Yeah? And when I look at that, I see him skip and dancing around propaganda mix up for a news station. The Lawrence Row, is there corruption? I'll ask. I don't see any corruption. It's not. the Jamaican taxpayer money. If there's any case of such, I'm not going to say that is what it is. If
Yes.
that's the case, there's no corruption there. Within a team, you're going to have changes, strategic moves, and that should be left up to a team. Moving away from that and your little mess that you have there about the court case and all of that, we want to hear about the real business of Jamaica. Because feel with business now, we are talking about it, and we
Yeah.
want to know about the Auditor General's report. There are there are municipals that are under question. Portmore, St. Catherine is in Portmore, and KSAMC. This is a big sore. It is a huge sore where everybody knows it's in the public space. And let's zoom in on KSAMC for a bit, because this is the people's business. This is what we want to know about. What happened internally in the People's National Party is not the concern of the nation in this capacity. In this capacity. So I look at it and say there was $63.3 million allocated for housing in the municipal. And initially, it's supposed to be 10 houses that are supposed to be built. This was a quota. And when the Auditor General's report shows that it was 4 houses being built, and that is moving from the 63.3 mil to now 30.3 mil, sorry. So therefore, there is an outstanding balance of 33.3 million, or 33 million that is. These are the things that we want to know about. And when you break down the 10 houses from the 63.3 mil, you get roughly a 66.33 mil for one indigent house. I would love to ask a contractor, does that add up? And where are the names of the persons for the indigent houses for the 2, the 4, and the 2? There's no name, there's no proper record. These are the things that the country is supposed to be concerned about. So when you come out and you do your little rant, this is no disrespecting the intelligence of the Jamaican people. As Uncle Rattigan said, critical thinkers. And this is the reason why we're out here listening to a mystic sensation. We're listening to Wilfred Rattigan. We're listening to Pastor Ricky. And to a lesser extent, listening to me based on the information that I've learned, I've read, and we're asking questions. Why is the focus on your personal thing? You go and do that in the courtroom. Why is it your focus on an internal PNP party thing? Let us focus on the people's business. If you say that you're a credible news source, so we want these things to be frowned upon, and we are moving to a higher level of consciousness where we are going to hold both political parties accountable so that we can have productivity at the end of this. So we want to shift that focus. We want to ensure that we have better media. Thank God for social media so people can get to learn. As Archimedes said, give me a firm ground to stand and I will move the earth. Education must be that firm ground that Jamaica stand on. And this is education where we can get information and then we can critically analyze the information so that we cannot just regurgitate it, but actually teach it from a perspective of understanding. So miss me with that, with your kind of mix-up thing right here. We want to know about the Auditor General's report. These are the things that we want to know about. Yeah, and we want to know what will happen to Mr. Chuck, who is clearly advising parliamentarians to break the international law. A law did in 2022 when you, the Prime Minister, and the rest of the government choose not to sign the IC Ethics Code of Conduct, then you shouldn't be in any type of governance and proper governance ethics conversation. You don't know these things, and it's so ironic. Somebody who's supposed to be quoting from the Constitution, misspeaking, misleading information from the Constitution. We're in a crisis where this is cockistocracy. When we look as the regular citizens, as they claim, look at the situation and say, you know what, you're clearly out of your space. You're clearly out of your depth. So we need a change from this. Thank God for social media. That is my 2 cents.
All right. You know what? Very good input, Jamaica. But I want to just go back to, as it relates to the nil returns, Brother Rattigan, because why that is important to me in terms of when we look on the subject, the previous subject that we had spoken about, right? We had seen nil return on his thing. But I am so curious as it relates to how many institutions in Jamaica, right, showing nil returns. And let me show you where I'm going, Brother Ratty, on the panel. Now, remember that one of the situation that Nigel Clark needed was to address was the budget shortfall as it relates to the 2023-2024 budget shortfall there of some roughly about, you know, if my memory serves me right, somewhere like $28 billion. What impacted that, you understand, was to the fact that as much revenues weren't coming in as it relates to corporate taxes. Where I'm going, Ratty, is that many institutions in Jamaica, including particularly the hotel industry, because we have a lot of persons who are complaining, right, where the institution, Ratty, right, are collecting the taxes, right, the direct taxes, the NIS, the Ed tax, right, the NHT union. And when they collected these taxes from these workers, the problem is that they are not paying it over. Now, where we see on as it relates to the subject in question, right, where we got 10 write-off, right? I am asking, remember now, I am asking a question, I'm posing a question. If that institution was collecting direct taxes from that institution employees, but however, not paying it over to the relevant authority. So then my question is, Brother Ratty, will the government continue to giving write-off, as we see 10 write-off? Wouldn't that tantamount to aiding and abetting in the sense where some level of criminality may have done? Because if an institution collecting taxes from the workers, but not paying it over to the relevant authorities, wouldn't you identify that some criminality had done, Ratty, coming to the space?
Yeah, indeed. And in fact, you find examples of that in the recent Auditor General's report, the one that came out in December, but was just recently released. I went through it and I saw instances where agencies were accused of collecting funds, NHT and other type funds, but they weren't turning it over. And so the question is, what becomes of that? The problem is that, we don't have, well, I shouldn't even say it that way. There's no desire for us to modernize our laws. I think they just leave it the way it is, because if you go through the penal code and even some of the civil laws, you'll find that penalties are the penalties that they issue or that should be issued. They would have been fined like 20, 30 years ago, but not today. Where you can find somebody, $200 for some. It makes absolutely no sense. And when you go through the laws, this is where you find. And one of the things we must remember is that the Auditor General doesn't have the right to prosecute. She can't prosecute. Remember now, prosecution is within the province of the DPP. Now, you have other people who can prosecute, but What we must remember is that the DPP is supreme when it comes to prosecution, because even if let's say the Integrity Commission, they have the prosecutorial arm, right? And let's say that person decided that they're going to prosecute the matter, the DPP could step in and just take over the case and shut it down. So that is the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that the system, like Rosalie said this past Saturday on the program, we need to change the whole system. What we're doing with the constitutional reform is we're addressing aspects of the system, but we're leaving the system intact. In fact, they said that they want the system to remain intact. So what we're saying is, no, change the whole system. So you're absolutely correct. The idea that you're going to collect funds that should be turned over to relevant authorities, taxing authorities, or whatever the authority is, and then you don't turn them over. You can impute knowledge to that. And if you can impute knowledge to that, you can impute motive to it. And if you can impute knowledge and motive, then you can impute an intention to commit a crime. But even after you do all of that, the question is this: who is going to prosecute? That's the biggest problem. We can sit here, we can analyze it till the cows come home, and we're going to end up at the same place, that yes, these matters should be prosecuted. And the question is, will the DPP prosecute the matter? So far, no.
Can I just say one thing, Sir Byron?
Yes,
great
go ahead,
point. Great point, Sir Atigan. But remember, budgets are formulated by the projected revenue and forecasts of future revenues that the government is going to collect from, exports, things that they businesses like that they do with other country that owes them, and they're expecting this revenue to come in, and also their projection and forecast of taxes that they plan to collect for that fiscal year. So in the $45 billion shortfall, like you said, Sir Byron, it's possible that this 45 billion may be compiled of the taxes that they write off for these companies. And so we must remember that the Integrity Commission, in their annual report that they released last June, not only did they identify 2 more illicit enrichment criminals, but they also said that there were 40 public officials that were under investigation. Remember, go back and read it. 40, we focus on the illicit 8, but we forgot that there's 40 public officials that they're having under investigation. Based upon this document, and this is not mystic sensation, this is Pastor Ricky's personal view, and under free speech, I have the right to say what I want to say. Based upon this document, I think that Nationwide is guilty of defrauding the government, and they're one of the 40 public officials that the Integrity Commission is investigating. That's my personal opinion, because I do budgets for so many years, and I can tell you, you have 10 tax write-off. How much money was write-off each time? And that's separate from the $1.2 billion that is owed. So that's a lot of money. So if the Integrity Commission investigate these 40 officials, I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of them. That's all I wanted to say.
I mean, that is extremely exorbitant, Pastor Ricky. 10 write-off. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Now, Jamaican people, right, I want to get into a little thing here, right, in highlighting, right, such an articulate writer, right, I would say a novelist like myself as well, right, to the fact that I am also writing a piece. But I was surprised, right, as it relates to, my panelist, right, Jamaica's writing skills. And I want Jamaica, trust me, as it relates to the talent of Jamaicans, Vilrati and Pastor Ricky. I was so, surprised in terms of how, Jamaicans, use up his simile, use up his metaphor, his oxymoron, and all those part of speech, right, in terms of putting out. And I want Jamaica to feel Jamaicans. I want Jamaica to feel Jamaicans, because Jamaicans is coming at you, and Jamaicans and myself, we are writing on a piece, you understand, and we are going to get it out shortly. But without any delay, people, I want you to stay and stick, take in the talent of the young man, right? Without any delay, let us go to Freedom, done by none other than Jamaicans. Nice piece as it relates to a tribute piece to Marcus Mosiah Garvey. What a piece of talent is showcasing here tonight. Jamaicans, let us bring up that. Freedom, done by Jamaicans. And this is exclusive, people, and Mystic Sensation. And I'm so happy, right, to highlight this, right? I mean, talent, the abundance of talent. People, listen to Jamaicans here.
One of the most influential figures in the history of the Black diaspora, a man whose vision, leadership, and tireless work have left an indelible mark on the...
Sorry for that.
One sec.
Sorry for that. Right, don't blame the technical operator. It's the way me put it. You understand? I misled her. You understand? So let me just correct that. Right, so it's my part. Now, come in, Jamaicans, as it relates to this. Let's showcase the talent so rich.
Today we stand and witness the world bow to a king without a crown, yet regal somehow. Not one who ruled and reigned from a throne, but a king whose spirit was vividly shown. A king who never lied, who never stole, who carried the truth as the essence of his soul. He wore no gold crest upon his head, yet in hearts and mind his wisdom spread. He never taught racism, but dignity and pride in one's race. A voice for the silent, the cast aside. When others were silent, his cries rang. He saw his people oppressed and torn, uprooted souls their glory wore. He told them to stand, to rise with grace, to reclaim their worth, their rightful place. A man of vision who planted seed of business and progress, of thought and deed. He taught us we are not serfs and slaves, but beings in minds and yielding brave. Today we celebrate this king of the free, a name etched in time, a legacy. For his honor we find our way and carry his light to a brighter day. Hail the man, hail the king, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, our king. Blessings.
Take that away. Now, Jamaicans, you're not going to escape this, You're not going to escape this. Don't what happen so we are just going to play that. You understand? We want to go live for us. We want you to showcase the talent. So I hope you're prepared. Take it live and make sure. Look here, it's a nice piece, a well done piece. And you and I working on, you understand, my piece as it relates to breaking the surface. All right, so Jamaicans, take it away and let us listen to you. Let us get the raw info from you.
Thank you ever so much. And I must say, in writing this piece in mind, I had what is going on in our social space. It's quite disrespectful, and it's quite a low mentality that we are getting from our government official, and our mentality has to be higher than that in order to gain or to attain success that we need to grow and to have sustainability. We have to also remember that. And it deeply hurts me, and I want to say I'm happy about the man being pardoned, even though it's a step in the right way. But as Mr. Golden had said, that we claim it as an exoneration, and the claim that we can claim is because we are proud that we are at this step. That to say, a man who has done not just for Jamaica but for the world, we can be proud of. And when I hear Mark Golding saying that, Comrade Mark Golding said that he's going to ensure that his message is taught from the basic level of education. These are the things that inspire me. 31 years old, never voted, but I know that I have to play a part in governance, and thanks be to God for people like Mystic Sensation, Wilfred Rattigan, Pastor Ricky, and many others, the local scene. Brat's my co-host, I want to talk about Dr. Cole, but these people inspire us, and we have to remember that when we lose an elder out of our society, we lose a library. But I want to quickly go to this one to say, it's raising its ugly head again. Racism, a disease that leaves us misled, like an infection which JLP's core, spreading its poison, leaving us wounds and sores. Warmington words sharp as a knife. Massa Mark from Clark ignites the strife. Juliet Cutburn Flynn, with her venom she speaks. Andrew Holness, silent while angers peak. And now Dr. Lawnmore joins the refrain as prosperity is dragged through the drain. Jamaica, once bold, now feels betrayed by tongues that tear down what our ancestors laid. How hypocritical, how blind to the past when Edward Seaga roots were foreign and vast. The PSOJ boasts with white men and white women, yet words from leaders now deepen division. Out of many one people or matter declare, but now we forget that the ideals as one shared. We ban South Africa apartheid crime, yet within our borders we have lost our mind. And hail Michael Manley, he fought for the just. Hail Marcus Garvey, in his vision we trust.
Wow.
It is white Jamaicans who stood with Garvey's dream for unity and progress and shared esteem. But now self-hate runs deep in some of us veins, and the JLP echoes with racist refrains. Jamaica, we are at a perilous crossroad, bounded by chains of divisive load. While the world moves forward with science and art, we linger fractured, torn apart. Let us raise and reject disgrace. Say no to racism, no matter the face. Choose dignity, pride, progress again. Forward to the PNP, forward for change. And with saying that the PNP at the end, we have to understand this, that if you are nowhere, you are nowhere. Corruption is running wild in the JLP government, and it is evident for everybody to see. It is smelling, showing its ugly head. We must be against corruption, and we must hold anybody who we put in accountable. So thank you, Mystic Sensation, for giving me the platform to do this. I appreciate it, and thank you all for appreciating as well.
What a talent.
Well done.
Right. Well done.
Big salute.
I mean, the way how he put it together, right? Using up the simile, using up the metaphor, and you know it, right? It's just, you know, he was able to capture history within itself, right? And, you know, the way we articulate that, right? And preparing us, right, in terms of telling us what we need to do, right, as it relates to our quest for good governance. What do you have to say about this, Ratty?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Jamaica's a talented soul, you know. I mean, yeah, that it goes without saying. And I mean, his brilliance is instantly recognized. He's not a man where you have to listen to him too and a lot and you say, I'm not so sure about him, and then him hit a high point and you say, okay, all right, fine. I mean, once you hear this young man speaks, then you're left with no choice but to acknowledge the brilliance. And all Jamaics and all Jamaics needs, believe me, people, is an opportunity. That's all he needs, an opportunity. This is a man where you know, goad him enough, shove him enough, do this, and just present an opportunity, and he will just seize the moment and make something of it. And I tell you, I'm proud to be associated with him. When we call him nephew, it's almost like it not sound right. You know what I'm saying? Because they see him as my equal.
Exactly.
See him as my equal, or even somebody was exceeding me. And so age is not a factor here. It's respect, it's intelligence, it's brilliance, it's wisdom. He's precocious. Maybe that's the word. You know, he's wise beyond his years. And so I look forward to the association. I mean, it's a pleasure. Whenever I'm in a scene on the program, I'm worried, you know, because I right. Yeah, because you know the man is a gem, and so the two pieces, the one that he read and the one that you played. I mean, it no matter who you are, if you are, no matter where you live, if you're a Jamaican and you hear them two pieces and you're not moved by it, then you're not Jamaican. You need to give it Jamaican. No, you need to give citizenship. So, Jamaica, well done yourself. Blessings.
Thank you.
Exactly. Pastor Ricky, yes, man. You know, make your observation as well.
Yeah, man. Big respects, Jamaica. So salute you. You don't know, I met Jamaica last summer. We the both of us and other bloggers on TikTok in the trenches, and you know, I go on Jamaica's live, he comes on my live, and we go on other people's lives and we share. And the brilliance and the he's a poet too, you know, and he's very, he knows how to articulate his words and make it very inspirational and uplifting. So I know that his future is bright. I wouldn't be surprised if one day he gets in politics. He said he just gonna vote for the first time, so you know he's still maturing and growing, but being around the right people to lead him, people of leadership, you know, I think that the guidance that he's gonna get comprised with what he already possessed, it's gonna propel him to the next level. And you know, he's gonna go far and wide and be a big name in Jamaica, you know, in the years to come. So I'm glad I met him when he was just me and him in the trenches with others. And so, you know, when the good Lord elevate him and bless him some more and anoint him to continue the work that he's doing, you know, he's gonna go far places, man. And I'm so proud of you, man. Salute. You don't know. Every day we in the trenches, I buckle them clown out on TikTok. But you don't know it, go already. Much love, man. Much respect. Keep up the great work. God bless you.
All right. And I want to tell the people to look out, right, for breaking the surface, right? That pen by myself, and of course we'll have Jamaica's attached to that as a co-writer as well, right? Beautiful piece, I must add. Yes, Sister Pat, come into the circle. Love you, Sister Pat. What's going on?
Sir Ricky, Sir Ratigan, my baby son Jamaica, big up, sir. The full of talent, that's how you go to make a plan for because what the opportunity. My son, I'm saying to you, you are in the right crew, all steady, all fast. Sometimes the hills might be rocky and the front low, but from Ghana the vessel, they ride to any star. Looking at you right now, you just look like Bishop. I'm want the best for you. Continue doing what you have to do. Be an inspiration to your soul. All right. With that said, with that classes, make sure don't even lie them. Sarah, you know what you have said? And mistake, you are blessed.
Blessings.
You are some wise person. Sit here from class start and I miss nothing. I'm listening to Mr. McGregor, listening to Mr. Bernard, But we have to put with my brother pieces. As a crime fighter, as in Jamaica, where you shall be crime preventer, but there's a crime fighter. What Mr. Steve, when we get from Steve, my brother, is what Mr. Rattigan been speaking from day one. The tactical security with people. You as a security person have to communicate with people to get strong information to prevent crime. And when you ask him one question and he said that about something, about the more about this and that, you know what that gets from it? The enemy is so corrupt. And I to the Jamaican Labour Party. So I'll do him left from the force. Him still about this take a word where there are certain things we cannot speak. And we have to respect that. No, I am taking this opportunity to call on Mr. Golden, Mr. Peter Bunting, and now the IRA in the PNP. It can be a few months from now. No, it will be a few months from now. The shoes will be on your foot. We know, so you're going to go see what empty chest, and we know, say, the road are going to rock you, but we already rock with you in the, as a new rocker that the one in every 9 years.
So true.
One of your first agenda where we the Jamaican people are asking for is to go straight into the JCF and fire, fling out, and prison. We want, just like we want a new government, we want a new JCF. And we don't want you to take them aside. Yeah, demote them from this one, put them down this one. Get rid of them once and for all. If they don't reach retirement age, pay them and send them home if they get paid. Investigate them, because in Jamaica we have a lot of mysterious death. Lot of mysterious death. A lot of things happening. And we need to get to the bottom, because if you know, get to the bottom of it, it will continue. And it's a Rattigan, I can't emphasize anymore. You are a wealth of knowledge. I wouldn't mind put out my class, a security class, even online. Even online, and people can tune in and learn. You learn me a lot, and in a mind, you going down days, we still at work, and more time we at work. I mean, use them and get things and get the work done fast and quick. And Ratty said, use it and say, oh, this is the way. And with my trainer, Mr. Sibri, sir, you do the work and you pre-roll, but you don't know the value of work, what you do. And whatever this country come to their best, you missed it. Lonesome, Andre, you contribute to it. Okay, sir, I sit down here so I make sure I'm not sleep. Not miss me. Yo, these people, we say, Donovan Williams, run out for Mr. Mark Goldie, this man about exoneration and whatever. Everything they run with. And to visit to Cliffviews. Let me tell you something. If you spit in the ear, it must fall in the face.
Exactly.
When you run from other people business, see Jeannette Calder as a female, suffer the consequences. When you run out and say you want big apartment, and do the poor woman this and do that, your time come. And if persons and say you owe money, and you know you don't owe no money, that's out all paper and say, see, Jack,
Exactly.
pay money and show tax office here, tell like on you. So when you come and tell me about your legal team, say, nobody not afraid of nobody. Come with your legal team. Lie, many corner, but truth walk straight. Right?
Yes.
Just like when you do other people, you come and feel footstep and you have more to get. Because anytime the change, the food change. We have big up the whole of uno discredit Mark Holding. Mark Holding has never in our whole life, in the background, you say Mark Holding. That man say, yeah, right. And uno discredit him, man. Uno discredit that you know, go say him breeding wife at 9. Father, uno go in man bedroom. And Mark Holding is a man. When married, having nice picnic, come from a distant home. You know, go so far and so low, and he must just not pay no mind. Simple. You know, thief in a parliament. We are trying like push block and he Mr. Speaker this, and before we look at him and I said, let me tell you something, we respect you as a Prime Minister. What are we to the poor people in Jamaica? Just kept down the brother. Step aside and make the investigate. But you roll out with us and lie to it, so it will not the same thing. And when you look, everybody where Andrew always affiliate with, they drown down with him. When you carry that down, let me tell you, you have a woman around him. You see, when it should change, if you want to do business, nobody at Jamaica now support you. If you're the power radio, we tap to play the radio station. We don't want to see you know. If we don't watch the person on the radio, I want the radio. What we part of it? You know, the media outside Jamaica. And when I say these people, we serious from the listening. The media houses, and when I say the media houses, I mean not the little journalists them because they are buzzed. But the person who operated as the member, who is as guilty as anti-goalist, who is a disgrace, who is a murderer, who is a colonious, who wicked to Jamaican people, who is there to give information and information that people can know where they are going and know hide everything and make it look like who is a deceiver. When it comes to taxpaying, me can speak because I worked in security company for years. And when I turn up at NHT, they know me not. Right? They don't know me. I have the money there. When they to show no wicked way. The Supreme Court ruled from 2023 that security officers supposed to get some back money and something. Until now, 2025. Not even a dollar we not get that nothing. And how then do shift and go on and literally sign the contract, and this and nobody stand up to it. So gentlemen, I take a whole space card that people are calling and we know no go. But I tell you, Mr. Ratigan, God bless the day, the second minute you were conceived in a mother's womb. You are here for a purpose. You rescue a nation. You rescue a whole generation. Because of only I have the people and we are going to make the right choice. That's our great-grandchildren can benefit. Yes, it's not going to be so easy at first. It's not so easy. Even if you get a new job, it's not so easy because you don't understand it. But as soon as you master it, it becomes a tip of the finger. And with that mystic and mystic, I salute you know, and I wish God riches, blessing, you know, and wish everything that is good health, good strength, and continue to educate you. And Ratty, when you have the time, and I like you, even by line, I have a little class and one chipping, where security tactical is because you know what we not did yet, we have a plan. So with your knowledge, you could have helped me to enhance my plan because I'm not intending to work with people every day. Alright?
Yeah.
So with that, I'll pay the tax. Big up yourself, Jamaica. Big up yourself, Pastor Ricky.
All right. Now, well said, Sister Pat. And Sister Pat, you know, a lovely sister, right? Trust me, love her to the bone, right? Wonderful contribution coming from Sister Pat. So let me say, right, because I'm going to put up this last piece and then I get to the panel for their final statement. Now, I just want to speak to the subject that involved, right? Me not call no name, you know. You understand? Because we see the subject involved refrain from running out with him TCC and I run out and talk about things, you know, input certain things in I'm liar hand. So this is what we want the subject to run out with. Let us show what we want the subject to run out with and show us that, listen me, when I left off of my name, stop and spread propaganda upon me because see me evidence here, show what we want the what we want the subject to run out with. Show it to me.
Thank you, Violet, for that super chat.
Big up yourself, Violet.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. More
All right.
blessings to you.
All right. Let us show what we want the subject. You understand? Nobody can say me I call their name, I'm not call their name over here. Because show what the subject need to run out with. Tax compliance certificate. Let's go in. What is a TCC? A tax compliance certificate is a document issued to an individual or a company as proof that returns and payment of tax liabilities and wage-related statutory deductions are up to date. Taxpayers are advised that all TCC will be processed on their main TRN. Therefore, all branches operating under a TRN must be compliant for a TCC letter to be issued. All importers who need to submit an import entry to clear goods through customs. This is who needs a TCC. Contractors applying for a contract from government. Applicants for security commission license. Applicants for security firm registration. Applicants for citizenship. Work permit, and it shows you how it's required. So companies, right, who owed their tax, you understand, take it away. Nobody talk to it. Nobody talk about, okay, you leave that to your lawyer. All what you need to do, right, just run out to the TCC, no man. Come out to the TCC, no man, and show the people them, no man. And if you can't come out with your TCC, then guess what? Too much heat in the kitchen and we're asking you to leave. Ratty, let me hear your final piece.
Yeah, that's why I love the show, yeah, because let me tell you all the time, you set it up for me, lick it down, because, you know, homework has been done, research has been done, and so it's very easy to come on a show like this. Very, very easy because you have the material lined up. You're absolutely correct. If him satisfy the tax requirements, then just come out and say, see to your people, and that's the end of it. You know, it's like I'm doing some stuff right now on a minister, and that minister, I'll just say she knows who she is, and that minister, I'm filing another complaint. Tonight I'm gonna file it. It's ready. But look, minister, if you satisfy the requirements, just show the thing. Just come and say here it is, and it's over and done with. But when you hide behind words and you hide behind this person and that thing, it's a problem. So look, and you said before, anybody can sue anybody. You know, it's not a matter of filing a lawsuit. It's a matter of proving your case. And you can file from now until the kingdom come. If you can't prove your case, then yeah, that's it. You have no case. So if the gentleman is saying that people are, besmirching his reputation and therefore he has to defend it, then you don't need to come out and say, well, I've been instructed by legal counsel to do this or to hold my tongue or whatever. Just come out with the documents and say, here, fine. Or if you have the documents, just go ahead and file a lawsuit. Let's file a lawsuit and that's it. Nobody running afraid of a lawsuit. Just like how, you know, you want to file a lawsuit. Don't forget that you were sued already. So, and you lost. So, yeah, no problem. And we're willing to just hammer it home and make sure so you lose some more. So,
Exactly.
because I'm telling you, if you've never been through discovery, it is not a nice process.
All right.
Because when you get that interrogatory and them start asking questions where you don't want to answer, and you know you have to answer them and you can't lie. And when them put you in the hot seat and them start asking questions, you know it goes. So right now, talk is cheap, and as we say, mouth make to say anything. So them can talk and talk and talk until me say the certificate, the tax compliance certificate. When me see that, then we say, okay, all right, yeah, improving case.
Yeah.
So, but look, people, it's a pleasure being here with Mystic and his lovely wife and Pastor Ricky and Jamaica. And don't forget tomorrow night, I'll take the liberty of announcing it. Tomorrow night we have Comrades Metratic and we have Dr. Ben is coming back on tomorrow, and it's what we call it. Women Wednesdays. So tomorrow it's all about the female concerns. It's all about that. And we know the way I'm a man I got giant because the man. Everybody have woman, you will have man. So,
all right.
We'll have a good turnout. And then on Saturday, please folks, we'll have to show up down the numbers because it will be an abbreviated program. We're going to go from start regular time from 3 and we're going to end at 7. For that program, we will have, I think we're going to have Mr. Kojo, man who wrote a constitution. He's going to come on and talk about the issues with the reform. Last week, we had Rosalie Hamilton who spoke about the reform as well, but she was focused on the system. He's coming out to say we have a replacement constitution. So we're going to examine that. And there's a special guest. I won't name her yet because we don't have a commitment. But at 7 o'clock sharp, people.
All right.
Mr. Wildman will be entertaining us. He will join us, Mr. Wildman. Yeah, and he say he's coming and we'll talk to the radio station and they're in the process of talking to the DJ, you know, that plays after Kevin Stew, DJ Kevin Stew. And when so Kevin's schedule is from 8 to 10, and then there's a DJ, Tony Culture, comes on from 10 to midnight. So we're planning to have from 7 to midnight, and we're going to play. Mr. Wildman say he only wants to play slow jams, R&B. So all the lovers in the house, when they show up, it will be a musical extravaganza. We're going to be just slow jams right through for 5 hours. So, and we'll see. We tell him, you know, you know, this man, on Saturday night, just quickly tell you the story. Saturday night, he called me and I had to get Kevin on the line and we set up the system with him and him start playing some music and him start telling me this and him start telling me that. And I said to him, listen, it's no clash. We just let us play music for the people. And him said, no, a clash. Him said, I come for wipe me up. And what way am I going to do? And I said, Mr. Wildman, no. And even wife come on and I tell him, say, no, honey, I don't know, clash. Him say, I'm going to stay the thing on the clash. We till the time we done with it. So him will come. Then Saturday night, we play music, you know. Saturday night, him play music after we set up the system. And guess what I'm doing? Sunday morning, because when we finish Saturday night, him say, yeah, after we set up the system, he said, I forgot church in the morning. And I said, good. Say a prayer for everybody. He said, good. Sunday morning, soon as the man walk out of the church, the man called me. And him have up on the phone for 2 hours. Him come from him walk out of the church, in the car with him wife, then him go in office, him go in office, do something, him wife do something, him take on the phone, then him go home. And the man still play music with me. I said to him, say, brethren, you know, on a clash, you know, just where's I play music for the people? Him saying, you stay there. So folks, when I show up, it's not a clash. It's not a clash. We just play music. And by the way, it will be interactive because we're going to ask the public when we play our songs. We say, hey, you know, when you like them songs, why your favorite? And, you know, you give us some songs and we'll find them and we'll play them. So it's going to be a nice jam session. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go. You hear that last piece from Ratty, right? Wonderful input, right? And definitely we have to be tuning people. So people, remember now, tune in. That is going to be very entertaining, right? Let me see. For now, maybe I go with Mr. Wildman, but if I lose, me switch to Ratty.
Sir Ratty know music, you know. Sir Ratty got no music, you know. Sir Byron. No, we have to go Ratty down, man.
At the end of the day, no, Pastor Ricky, me not bring no loser, you know.
I want a house man at Jammies, around a Jammies land him come from, you know.
See that? See that?
Right.
See that? See that?
Tubby's and them man there. Channel 1. Studio 1.
Talk to him, Pastor Ricky. Talk to him, Pastor Ricky. Talk to him.
A veteran. Chimalaya, I'm a veteran, man.
Talk to him,
all right.
Talk to him.
All right. All right. Here you go. Jamaica, take the mic. Say your last piece.
Blessings, man. Blessings, man. I tell you. But join with you, you know, Sir Byron. Me nah bring the loser. Oh,
Yes.
look at them, I go win. Well, guy, you know, the more experienced lawyer probably be a bit more strategic, but we still have watch a race.
We can't lose.
Legal
Alright.
clash. Is that KC Whiteman I come for kill a son, but them ring the alarm, another son falls along, another son is dying.
Right. So that he's the only registered legal DJ in Jamaica. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Back up on a legal DJ in America.
Exactly.
What a clash. Mafadede live on direct.
All right. Lessons.
I tell
Yes,
you, man,
Jamaica.
you see right here, man, this is one of my Bible, and I will encourage the youths to read the Green Book of Governance by Muammar Gaddafi, and also Emancipate Yourself from Mental Slavery. These are just some of the books from Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, also As a Man Thinketh, James Allen, multiple books. Marcus Garvey said we must read, so we need to do that. The youths of Jamaica, occupy your time with fruits that will bear later on. These are the seedlings that you need to plant for a better future. We're talking about instant gratification. If you take that out of it and have delayed gratification, become farmers, where the farming teach you how to be patient, how to be caring, and how to have hope. And we want to encourage people in an era where we're having food shortage and we're having economical strain. We're encouraging our youth from 1971. Michael Manley had said to us to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. And that is something that we're supposed to live with. We are asked all of the households them to invest in farming. Yeah. The little piece of dirt on a box, scratch it away and put the pepper seed where you're going to throw away. Put it in there and let us start feeding ourselves. I must say the platform is such an amazing place. You give me so much homework to do. It's just like being on with a Rattigan show as well. So much homework, very technical work. People, when you like and comment the work that Mr. Byron and his lady doing, man, words cannot explain it. And as Mr. Rattigan said, it's already done. So you just look at it and you highlight these things and you can get a better understanding of all of these, meat and a ball of confusion. Compartmentalize is the word that comes to mind when you look at how it is just broken down. So thank you to the duo. The duo makes a lot of sense. And I must say in closing that being over 3 months now without employment, it has done a lot for me. It has given me so much time to ensure that I get the knowledge that I deserve and I need in order to move to the next era of my life. And I give thanks to everybody that I'm able to learn from. The little knowledge that I know now, I know that I don't know half as much as I supposed to know. So I am humbled. Thank you for your comments, your kind comments and words. And I, as Mr. Rattigan said, just an opportunity. I don't seek I don't see any type of thing from somebody like a fish. I want to know how to fish. And you know,
You
as
go.
time goes by, we'll definitely move on together. So thank you for that opportunity. What a beautiful night, man. So much to give thanks for. Take care.
Blessings. Blessings, my brother. All right, Pastor Ricky, I have the opportunity to close the out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I must echo big respects, Comrade Jamaica. I must echo what he shared. You know, we have learned so much from these two professors, Sir Byron and Sir Rattigan. And over the years, they don't know, but here's my notebook. I'm always taking notes. So when I go into space, the social media space, I know that my content match what I'm learning, you know. So big respects to Sir Byron and Sir Rattigan, and also Lady Anne Marie, the co-pilot, you know, and must big up Father Lonesome too, and Sir Jeffrey. You know, I have all these professors, man, and now that them say come at the front of the class, come sit down and all our meds with it. So it's a great honor and a privilege, you know, to be in the space with great minds, you know, like Sir Rattigan and Sir Byron, and you know, Father Lonesome and Sir Jeffrey Tavares. So when them call, and it's so that you know we're amongst good people, because every good leader should be a mentor and a protege, and have those that they bring up under their wings. It's like a relay that can carry the baton, you know, the mantle. So I'm grateful. Well, these programs are very informative, very, very, very educational. I'm soon gonna need a new notebook, you know, because it's just so, especially Rattigan with that 8 hour show. Oh my God. By the time you don't take notes, it's like wow. Am I reduce it to 5? Okay. But me not mind still, you know, so you can go up to 10 because the more we learn, the better we will be, you know, and then being in the space on Tuesday night, Thursday night, the Titans, Friday night, Mystic again, Saturday.
Yes.
I mean, we're just consumed with knowledge and revelation and information, you know. So it's now me and Jamaica go up on the TikTok space and we regurgitate what we learn, you know, and keep the audience informed. You know, being an informed citizen is one of the best things to make informed decisions. And so I want to say thank you so much for allowing me and everyone to, you know, like Jamaica and all of us to be under the wings of great minds and learn and so forth. And I just want to say, Big Mama, you silence yourself. You said nobody now gonna silence you, but the fact that you don't have a tax certification, you silence yourself until you can produce. That's why you don't want to talk about it, because you can't produce the TCC. So until you can produce a TCC, you're gonna keep silent. So you silence yourself. I know we silence you. And you
All
know
right.
want to talk about it because you know have it for produce. So on that note, I just say thank you to the audience, great people in the chat. They're always sharing information and asking questions. And it just goes to show that you both of you are great professors, man, and love enough students. Your legacy, nobody now have to wait till you're in a casket to come say how great he was and how much them learned from you. What give your roses right now while you can still smell it. Because you know, but do no funeral and always bother me when people come at a funeral and I said the great things about the deceased that cannot hear a single word they're saying. So while you still have breath, I just want to say big up Sir Rattigan and Sir Byron, Sir Jeffrey and Father Lonesome. Big up the whole on, and you know, thank you for having me. Blessings, Lady Anne Marie. Big up yourself.
All right. And the truth be told, right? We must pay our dues to the foundation. You understand? Man like Wayne Lonesome, right? Who is the root, right? And of course, we take cues from him too, right? So big up Father Lonesome, right? The man with the energy, right? The Titan boss or the Titan CEO, right? Big up yourself anyway there. All right. Now, one thing we want to say before we leave.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sir Byron. Big up Melting Pot too, and Lady
Yeah, man,
Anne-Marie,
Melting Pot.
Miss Daisy, yeah.
All right, blessings. So one of the things that we want to highlight in saying, you know, in terms of our clothing. No, I mean, when we hear Big Mama speaking, right? The one thing I want people to ask, Big Mama, right? Can you produce your TCC? Well, if you can't, then just tell him to sign up. All right. But I want to say big thanks, right, to, of course, Ratty. Big thanks to Jamaica, Pastor Ricky, for passing through and making Tuesday a wonderful Tuesday, right, as usual. I want to say big thanks, right, for the support of Brother Rattigan. Big thanks for the support of Jamaica, right? Big thanks for the support of Pastor Ricky, right? Heal up, my brethren. Salute, right? And remember to support Rattigan, right? Member support Lonesome, right? Partner Draw TV, right? Jamaica Carlos, right? All of them,
Anissa Belrose, Talking
right?
Wine, Hot Off the Press.
Bolo, right? Hot Topic, Hot Off for the Press, right? All of them, right? From some who I can't remember, right? Big up everyone who in this space.
And Pastor Ricky and I will be on TikTok.
Yes, Pastor Ricky and Jamaica, right? We are saying big up everyone, you understand, who highlighting, right, the wrongdoing and pursuing for good governance. You understand? A big love to all of you coming from Mystic Sensation on the panel. Rattigan, Jamaica, Pastor Ricky. Once again,
love and respect.
Love you. All right.
Love you too, man. Blessings and honor, everybody.
All right, cool.
All right, bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. All right, that's it.
Okay, Patel, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Said he was in the hospital. Sorry to hear that. Hope you are recuperating well.
Yeah, man. And yes, of course, big up to Aromatic. You don't know Aromatic about the fire heavy too. You understand? As when we run through, you don't really remember the name them, but of course, Aromatic. You understand? Big up, salute all the time. Blessings.
Okay. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate each and every one. Have a wonderful and blessed night and a wonderful and productive rest of the week. And Patel, wishing you a speedy recovery.
Yes.
God is the healer. So hoping that you feel better soon. Bye.
All prayers, Patel. Blessings.